น่นอนน้องบาสสงสารเทคเตอร์เหมือนกันวันนี้ได้ดูอยู่ด้วยกันหรือเปล่าน้องอโดราบี้พอดีจะเลิกใช้หูฟังครอบแล้วราคาเบาครับใช้ของโลกาเบาจัดโลกาโปรตอน IEM ครับผมมูฟเป็นสปีดโอ้โหได้ของตากเลยอะไรอ๋อกำลังจะเริ่มเลย
The righteous path begins with me.
แล้วไม่ใช้ของอะไรลุง
ไม่ใช้ของเอลกาโต้ครับผมของดีครับเวฟ XLR อันนี้ The Base ล่านี้ดีครับที่มาลองถามตอนกลางวันเรื่องเมาส์สั่งไปแล้วโลกาการูด้าตอนแรกสั่งไซล็อก V8 มาใช้รู้สึกว่าไม่เล็กๆอ๋อดีโลกาการูด้า2นะ
Twilight fades.
ตัวใหม่นะครับของดีแน่นอน โลกาโปรตอน IEM โอ้โหโคตรโกงอ่ะคุณได้อาร์ทอกมาเต็มเลยไง หวานเจี๊ยบเลยอย่างเงี้ย เกมแม่งเสิร์ฟให้เกตลิน
I'm on the job. Look out! Look out!
Old man with a lamp coming through.
Who win today NAVI gonna win for sure จริงถ้าแบบเราคิดเราอาร์ทอกไปแล้วก็เปลี่ยนไปเล่นไอ้นี้ก็ได้นี่หว่าพอกี้ก็ได้เนี่ยไม่ที่ได้ยินอยู่คือเอลกาโตเนี่ย XLR ลองเสิร์ช Google ดูพี่ว่านี้โคตรดี
Any weapon, any army, anyone. I remain unmatched.
I'm on the job.
Doing it.
Oh my lord ทำไงทีนี้ที่น่าเอาหมัดมาว่ะ อย่าถืออาร์ทอกกันเยอะครับเพื่อนๆถือว่าผมขอ นี่คืออะไรเอารูสติกหรอ เอกาโต้แพงไฮเปอร์เอ็กดีกว่า ก็ใช่
I'm on the job.
เฮ้ย มันล่อว่ะเนี่ยตอนแรกว่าจะไม่เล่นเคสลิน3 ดาว มาอย่างงี้ห้องวารับด้วยสงสัยต้องเล่น แข่งวันนี้เหรอ เฮ้ย โอ้โหสวยละ ทำไงทีนี้ ของแม่งแย่จัดอะพูดได้คำเดียวว่าฟื้น
Let's wrap this up.
สวัสดีครับเซเฟอร์เซซาเฟอร์เซเหรอ มีคนไทยแข่งมาเมื่อแต่รอหายังไม่มีแต้มสุ่มใหม่ฟรีมาหน่อยมาหน่อย
brighter, the fire of retribution, or the heart's light.
ฟอร์ซ่า BBL เดี๋ยวนะครับฟอร์ซ่า BBL
I'm on the job.
เรียวหน้า4 ดาวเหรอ2 บ้านอะเอาบ้านเดียว ทุกๆ4 นาทีโอ้ยไม่ได้ครับ ทุก4 นาทีมันต้องเลือกได้ไอเรียวหน้าครับถ้าอย่างนี้ไม่ได้แล้ว อย่างนี้มันเลือกผิดหรอกวันนี้ฮีโร่วินเซนต์ผมจะไป EWC ไอพวกเด็กตุรกีอย่ามาห้าม พูดอีกก็ถูกอีกเห็นด้วยครับผมเฮ้ย
I'm on the job.
จริงๆ อยากเล่นสตาร์เกลเซอร์3ก่อนนะแต่เลือด6-7ไม่เอาดีกว่า
Stay out of my way.
หรือว่าปะเอาตังค์ปะนาวี่อะครับน่าจะ3-1ครับผม ให้เกียรติ BBL นิดนึงฮะอุ้ยโอ้โหลืมวงในช่องครับ ให้นาวีครับฮีโร่ยิง43แมปแบบละ40ตัวไอ้นี่คอมค้างปะนี่น้องยองหอดิครับให้นาวีนะครับ มาแน่นอนวันนี้ไม่มีผิดหวัง
Let's wrap this up.
ตัดไปครับ น้องชาย นี่มันตัวมันออกเยอะแยะไปหมดเลยวะ นี่แต่ฟอร์ม3 ทหารเสือนาวีตัวนี้ไม่งเดือดจริงวะ
Any army, anyone. I remain unmatched.
I will bring justice to this world, no matter the cost.
เฮ้ย ใช่เหรอโนวา5หรอ มันต้องเล่นบาสทันไหมใช่หรอ
เฮ้ย บาโลดี
นี่ไงเล่นอยู่เนี่ย ทีมวาโลแท็กติก เขาเล่นนี่5กันเหรอ โนวาพี่ก็ตามฟอร์มเขาผมมันโหดจริงช่วงนี้ก็เลยให้มันหน่อย เล่น5มันไม่มีตาไม่ค่อยน่าเล่นนะ ใช่ใช่ใช่เฮ้ย เดี๋ยวไม่เสียแรงที่เก็บป๊อปปี้ไว้ครับ โอ้โห เจออนิมาแคทเอาว่ะกูเครียดเลย โอ้กะจะเก็บตังค์สักหน่อย
I am your salvation.
โ ขอหยดน้ำกับไอ้นี่ได้ไหมเบลได้ไหมโอ้โหหายละอันนี้ฟอร์จูนมัน3 ดาวแล้วก็งานเข้าพูดได้คำเดียวเฮ้ยไหววะออกเป็นแล้วโกงจัด
The unrighteous will burn.
ไม่ไหววะแม่งเลเวล10อะเฮ้ย
All will know us in time.
เฮ้ย โอ้โหโดนล้วงอ๋อ จริงเราเล่นบัตชั่น6ได้เอาดาร์กเลดี้ออกได้นี่หว่าโอ้แล้วขายนี่ไปแล้วไง อืม
Now this I like.
ไม่ออก โอ้โหเนี่ยบาทจะ3 ดาวรวยเลยขนาดนั้นวะน่ะหนูนู่จะ3 ดาว บาทจะ3 ดาว วันนี้นาวีครับ
Behold the righteous flame!
ใจไปนาวีครับผมวันนี้ GG
Bye to Eternal Fire, Team Liquid, Fnatic, and Foot from this list. And of course, it is the last two to decide who goes through.
And of course, you saw in the format there that in phase 1, we had teams seeded 9 through 12 within VCT EMEA coming to battle. And we saw Pacific and Giant X fall out early on. But two teams that did make that run from the previous stage, from phase 1 all the way through here to phase 2, all the way through to, in one case, qualification, and in the other, our lower bracket final to fight for qualification. We had KC and NAVI, teams that really stunk when it came to VCT EMEA, especially for KC. They didn't get a win on the board. The only map they could win was Haven, and outside of that, they got destroyed. But they came in here to the EWC qualifier and they have dug deep. You could see that KC beat Fnatic to make it through. Gentlemates beat Foot. And for KC and NAVI, those deep runs from phase 1 come to a head. Obviously, KC's is finished, but for NAVI, BBL, all that stands in the way of their qualification to EWC. It is quite a big task, though. You're not just facing BBL, but you're facing BBL after they have beaten both Turkish teams back to back. They defeated Eternal Fire. They defeated Foot as well. They come in now heralding sort of that they're the best team in the region, at least off of that run. This is old meta. There's a lot to consider, so it's not going to be a finite thing, but in their mind, they have proven that they're the best. They are the champion of Turkey within EWC.
Oh, for sure. I think we saw the tweets from yesterday. I think they were definitely hyped to take that victory, and even still having a little bit of a look back and going, okay, maybe we need to work on a map or two. But I think that's good signs, and I think especially for BBL and their fans, one thing you always have to say is when that team is confident, they can beat anybody. That's always been the case. Like, they have been that team that could blow anybody out of the water, and we saw it kick off how clean they managed to make it all the way to Santiago. And then they sort of, I feel like over the last couple of months have learned how to lose. And I think that's been tough because they are a team that in the tier 2 dominated everybody, then came into the tier 1, also dominated everybody, and we kind of just went, is this just going to be the future now? But I think Santiago is a learning curve. Stage 1 has been a learning curve, and now EWC is where they look to rise again. And then for NAVI, they're kind of a victim of their own creation. They're a team that I hated the fact in stage 1 we saw them change players multiple times. We saw them change roles multiple times. I think FIDA has basically played everything under the sun at this stage. But it seems like they've now settled, and especially with having Exit into the roster, definitely a flair player, I guess you could say, like explosive. He might have a really good map and really bad map, but at least he's bringing a lot to the team, and I think that this is the best looking Na'Vi we've seen in a while. It's whether or not that's enough to qualify them to an event.
Well, that's the thing, right? It definitely is the best looking Navi that we've seen, as you said. Ruxic and Hero stepping up, players that we've known should be competing, or we felt should be competing at that top tier for a long time. Felt we should see them on that stage internationally and how they shape up against other squads. But it is hard to find your footing on shifting sands, and I think that is where Navi have been. It's been a rocky road, but now they're finding their way. You know, not too late in the year as well. Champions is still over the horizon, still a possibility for them, and it's good to see them take shape. But look, when we talk about this series, Tom, we're gonna have to get into the map veto and discuss and sort of find out where things are going. Our map pool being an important part of that. Look, we've got Ascent in. There is a little bit of a change, but for you folks at home, it's important for you to understand that the meta, although the map pool is updated, the meta is not. We are still playing Old Neon. We are still playing the powerful shotguns. You will see a lot of that here today, but you will also hopefully get to see Ascent. I suppose that depends whether you're a Navi fan or not.
But yeah, it really does. Obviously, each team will come in with a ban because they are, I believe, both coming in from the same stage. They're in the lower bracket, so it's not like when you have the final at the end of a big event, like for example stage 1, where one team came from the upper bracket, one came from the lower, so somebody gets 2 bans. That's not the case here. They both come in on a level playing field, and it definitely makes it for quite an exciting best of 5 because that's a rarity. You don't normally get to see teams on an even playing field, and that's going into this. There's normally a massive veto advantage, which weirdly a lot of the time doesn't play any part of it. So I am excited to see sort of where both of these teams end up going, because I think we've seen from both of them kind of a mixed pool. Like, even though we saw, for example, Fracture as a victory yesterday from Na'Vi, I wouldn't sit and say that's a massively confident map for them, because it took a 10-2 attack for them to turn what was a massive deficit. I also think that, again, like, they went quite far down on Split as well, which I do think would be a heavily favored map to them, because their opponents, although playing it quite a bit, haven't looked great. So I think those bans are going to be a big piece for me. And I guess you could say the same thing about BBL with their pick of Pearl. I also think Na'Vi aren't fantastic on the map, but I don't know if you want to go picking it again after what was still a pretty shaky performance yesterday against a team that doesn't like Pearl.
Yeah, keep in mind Loida had to go huge in order for them to have a chance. I think Kraven had like the game of his life as well. So like this was a very close map of Pearl, considering individuals having crazy step-ups in performance. Can't really expect that to happen twice. So this is also interesting though, because for Navi, like I said, maybe we're going to get to see an Ascent here. I think they picked it yesterday. It was definitely played up against Fnatic. I'm pretty sure it was their pick. And in that world, you know, you kind of have to question, we've seen it so far in this tournament, picking an Ascent up against a Turkish team. Maybe they'll reconsider that, especially as it was a close matchup that I think, I'm really stretching my memory. I could just look it up, but I'm pretty sure they lost against Fnatic on it.
They did.
Yes, it was their pick. Yes, they lost to Fnatic. My memory's coming back. Look at that. But this is somewhere that, yeah, I think they'll have some trouble potentially if they come in today and decide to slot that in. So I do agree. I think where we go in that veto is very interesting to me, and it is going to shape up how I feel this series is going to go. Because for BBL, I think them getting a shoe in right away could be risky. I'd like to see Ascent middle of the pool.
Well, yeah, it's a weird one because I think both teams are in different spots. Like, I think I'd feel more comfortable if Na'Vi were the one that maybe went down a little bit early and had to fight back into the series, where I feel like BBL, they're almost going to look towards a 3-0. Like, I think that they want to come in hot and just try and fly into the series. So I think especially looking at the changes they made recently, obviously Lovers Rock now playing more of the Neon role, which was a little bit hit and miss, but I also think we still saw the value of, like, having LaRock on Raze, for example, in the last map was insane. And I think he's done quite well at, like, sort of flexing when they need him to. Also, though, like, you look back to the series yesterday, and Kreven and Loiter, especially in that first map comeback, as you said, were insane. And that kind of brings me on to what's the more exciting thing with this matchup is if you're going on recent form or maybe overall form, Ruxic versus Loiter might actually be the most interesting matchup in this game, the two controllers of the team, because Ruxic's peak, Mitch, in that last map, like, I think he won them, and I mean, when I say individually, I mean, like, he's 1v4ing 3 or 4 rounds. Is that an understatement or an overstatement? I don't know. It feels about right.
Close to spot on. Yeah, I think if anything, it might be an understatement. Yeah, he was sensational. And again, that is a level that it's not the first time we've seen it out of him. We weren't sat here going, oh, he's capable of this sort of stuff, but it really is a marvel to see it unfold on the screen. But like you said, that victory was, it was a little bit of a tight one and required massive step up. So somewhere that, is it repeatable? You start to think maybe not. And I guess let's talk about really quick before we get into the veto, or as we get into the veto, the idea of who can roll this game, right? For me, Navi can win, right? There's no question about it. But if I'm to think about a team coming in and dominating, it's BBL. It's them taking that momentum, beating both Turkish squads as well before this, now feeling like they've hit that another power level. For Navi, I do fear that there's a chance that they get rolled. They've played incredibly well, so I don't think that should happen. But the danger exists more on BBL's side of the camp than on Navi's for me. And that's why I don't want to see the Ascent right off bat. I think it being in the middle of the pool still gives BBL a good chance to fight, still gives Navi a good ground. But if that ground is picked as the first battleground and it crumbles, then I think Navi are out of the game.
The one thing I will say for BBL, like as we, I imagine, do get into the veto, it is going to be that sort of like, where do you choose to go? Because the problem I have is, like, yesterday they chose Pearl. I don't want to see them do that again. Like, I don't particularly, I don't like hate their Pearl, but I don't think it's like an insane map, and I think for Navi it's actually a pretty decent map. So that's kind of where I question. And they have gone for Pearl again. Now, don't get me wrong. The reason they looked bad on it yesterday, they still won, was because they went 3-0 down in both halves. The problem I have is the last time Navi played that map, they won 13-4 versus KC. So I do feel like BBL are kind of gambling in my mind a little bit here on their opponents having a kind of poorer map. I also think the ban out of Lotus coming in from Navi is an interesting one because it's a map that they seemed quite happy to play through this qualifier and before, but maybe just seeing the performance that came out from their opponents yesterday, they just went, yeah, you know, actually, I don't want to play that. They just
แต่เวลาพี่ถูกติดกันเราต้องจำด้วยนะไม่ใช่จำเฉพาะตอนผิด
I'm going to be honest with you, Tom. Like, looking at this pool right now, I do feel like there's a little bit of a leg up potentially to BBL. The Pearl, is it going to be the same as we saw yesterday? Will there be big individual performances? Yeah, probably. Maybe not from Loiter, maybe not from Kreven, maybe. But I have no doubt that they'll be able to put something up. The one thing is, we don't see a whole lot of Ascent from BBL. But when we did, it was the Heretics game. It was overtime that they barely lost it in VCT MEA, I'm pretty sure. And this is somewhere that for Navi facing off against them on this map, Navi have to win. They come in, they pick it, it makes sense. But history has taught us how dangerous it is to pick that map against Turkish teams. We've seen it in this qualifier, and now it is going to be a linchpin of this series. Navi pulling it in early, but Pearl is a chance for them to even get a map under their belt early. Like you said, there's been some struggles there for BBL. I look now at the teams in particular, though, rather than the journey that they've had coming here, and talk about the players themselves. Lovers Rock versus Exit is a crazy hype battle. I mean, Lovers Rock transitioning from that Yoru role, now playing on the Neon, looking a bit more comfortable, but up against Exit, that's actually quite a challenge for him. Roll back 2 months, I think I'm saying it the other way around. But this tees up as a pretty interesting fight. But what I'm most interested in, Tom, is LaRock on the Phoenix, head-to-head with Filu on the Phoenix. I mean, that is going to be hype to see this battle go down.
Yeah, it's very interesting because you look at the last the last game that they played, and the reason that they were so dominant over on the Navi side is, well, you probably guessed it, Ruxic was very good, but the other player that dropped over 20 kills was Filu on the Phoenix. So it wasn't actually like Exit didn't have the best of games. Now LaRock in the last match,
NAVI
teed it up. When he played Pearl, it wasn't fantastic. It was actually his teammates in Loiter and Creven that had an incredible match, and I will say, I think it was a lot of that
NAVI เน้นจัด
ended up coming down to some of those like
EWC
site holds. I think that it was really well done by Creven, especially. I
เบื้อง
think
บ
he
น
did a
สั่งมา
fantastic job. So I think
เพื่อ
them
เก็บแต้ม
starting
ไป
on
ร
the
วมกับทีม
defense
อื่น
gives him an opportunity to maybe kick into
Get
gear
back
a little
in
bit
win.
sooner and not need to have those comebacks. Also, towards the end of the series versus Foot, they actually started winning some pistol rounds as well. So I do. That's the one thing with Navi where I'm a little bit like, okay, BBL, it might have been a close game, but they didn't win any pistol rounds for the first 4. But I do kind of query if maybe there's a better start for BBL, it might look stronger for them. I still don't sit here though and think like, okay, this is one team starting on a map
ถ้า
where
วัน
I'm
นี้
100%
ฮีโร่แม่งไม่
convinced
ใช่
they're
ฟอร์ม
gonna
เมื่อวาน
win.
กู
I
โกรธ
still think maybe because it's picked by them, I'd give it 55-45, but I think this is an insanely close map to start.
Yeah, definitely. Again, we've given you all the factors that make us doubt it, make us question how this has gone early. I mean, I could see a world where the map picks are almost flipped, where Navi come in ready to punish a Pearl from BBL and an Ascent from BBL, but they rarely ever play, but looked extremely comfortable when they did
คอนแทค
last.
ปีลองแอสตารอเลิก
Yeah, it was a loss, but a tight one up
แล้ว
against
โรเทต
Heretics
มาลอง
from
หมด
the
เรียบร้อย
B-side.
แล้ว
Navi send Exit
ยัง
in
ไง
to
ครับ
take
BBL
control
โดน
over
ตันหนึ่ง
elbow, and he survived until
สอง
the
แล้ว
stun
ล็อกเกียร์ใต้
blues. But this
แล้ว
is
ล็อก
fight
หมด
back. There's a battle for BBL as Lovers Rock and Rose
หมดเลย
take them all and leave Ruxic to show off
แม่งโร
how
เทต
good
ไว
of a
จัด
player he really is. A 1v4, 2 players tagged. It's not impossible, but it's tough.
He is someone who can perform miracles, but I think on Astra especially it's going to be very difficult. He doesn't really have anything that can help him maneuver. He can place a little bit of utility. One thing is Lovers Rock is very low, so maybe there's an opportunity there, but I think that they did incredibly well with their sort of distraction play. Like Rose making an aggressive push through gave Lovers Rock so much space. And now for Ruxic, yeah, they're just waiting for contact. 29 seconds for him to get on the side, try and get the spike. As long as they don't massively overface, this is the easiest win of their lives.
And there's a swing to close it. A 3K for Lovers Rock. He's where that final orb goes. But a very strong
4 ทุ่มน้
answer
อง
to
จ๋า
that B aggression coming
EWC
through from BBL. The fact that they flowed back in after losing their first so quickly, no doubt caught their opponents off guard. I mean, Exit seemed to have some good space here, but Rose and Lovers Rock were on them in an instant.
And that was already, this is a better start than we saw for them yesterday. So clearly feeling like it was more so just those losses in the early rounds that ended up being the problem and not the map as a whole. Ready. It's going to be challenging. Of course, expectations here is maybe get an orb or something. The stun was sublime. And actually, that's allowed Filu to get 2 of all the players to pick up kills in this round. Okay, now it's getting dicey.
ได้เล่น
The
ครับ
third player going down.
ได้เล่นฮะ
Weaponry being retrieved. Nobody actually here just yet from the opposing side. It's only just a rotation coming through from Lovers Rock. This has gone from well, the potentially great start to maybe a horrific one.
They'll go back to wishing that they lost the pistol if this one slips out of their hands.
เหมือนจะไปเลยหรือเปล่า
Lover's Rock has a trap. Luckily, it's covering off that push
วิ่ง
towards their spawn.
วิ่ง
Otherwise, he
ไม่
would
รอ
be
แล้ว
in
เฮ้ย
trouble. Kraven's put that there for him to keep their back secure. But the problem, the plant's coming in on B. The numbers against them, and there's not really any way they can deny this. Lover's Rock will have an angle though on the planter right after. Good shot. Put the numbers even. The weaponry in favor for
เห็นที่
BBL.
แม่งจะไปวางปิดตั้งแต่แรก
But the risk of losing this round, it's gonna weigh on them as the consequences sit in the back of their mind. The wraparound here seemed good, but a shot from Lover's Rock means they can focus elsewhere.
แม่งชนะ
Nicely
เห็น
done.
วินเนี้ย
Yeah, fair play. He's had a really strong start to this game. Already one away from having his ultimate online going into what will be round number 3. Of course, in terms of damage for Navi, that is as good a start as you're going to get. Filu picking up 2 orbs going down. That's a third for him. I think they'll be a little bit frustrated, though, that they don't manage to get this one over the line. Maybe a safer plant, a deeper plant might have been able to help out with that, but instead, losing one off the wallbang,
NAVI เพื่อ
definitely
BBL
more of a
Ascent
problem. But you
จ
can
บ
see
ด้วย
the
ฮา
fight
เว่น
coming out of this. It's going to be some pistols, a couple of rifles alongside that sniper, and then for NAVI, well, it's everything they could want.
They knew that Prowler was coming, but still stood a little bit close. Getting caught by it. There's info there, so the push comes in on the other side. LaRock runs into Hero. Wants to at least break that trap, I'd
ตัวละ
imagine.
ฮิโร่
If not force the fight all the way as the rotates come in. Hero's calling that, though. Full B long aggression. Trip still active. They're going to wrap back here. Try to reclaim that space, reclaim that info, or
โดนเทไป
maybe
แพ็ก
even a
A4 ค
split
รับ
through
ดู
mid.
ดิ
There's definitely a
เล่น
big
เป็นระ
gap
บบ
here.
ระ
As
เบีย
you
บ
can
จัด
see,
BBL โคตร
BBL
ไวดู
are
ดิ
gambling on this being an A hit because of their
ดี
space.
ที่สุดตอน
But
นี้คือต้อง
I think
เจาะ
NAVI
บี
are
ลิงไม่ก็
adapting
อาร์ตเจาะบีลิงดีกว่า
perfectly. The only downside is the spike
ถ้า
seems
เจาะ
to
บี
be
ลิง
heading
คือ
along.
perfect
This is a chance now for the round to go very, very wrong, and it will. LaRock has the spike.
แม่งเอาบอมไป
Those
ตก
players are still going
แล้ว
down
ไม่
the
เช็คเหมือ
laneway.
นจะ
There
มี
is one man with the task of
แต่ก็เช็ค
recovering
ไม่
it.
สุด
Ruxick has to do it by himself. The Molly is buying time. The wall is buying more. And all the while, those defenders could be coming behind him. Ruxick has to be worried. With 35 on the clock, they need to move. And LaRock is going to try to cut off the reinforcements. Instead, he's done so well. A flash to try to keep him alive, but he's put it down to 20 seconds.
Yeah, they know they have to go towards the B site now. Running back in the
Oh,
other
me, you
direction
punya
would just
hammer.
leave you with so little time. If there was a single player there, the round could fall apart, and I think the round already has fallen apart.
แม่ง
It's the
ไม่ใช่
realization
ของวะ
that the BBL
โชว์ลีก
side
เฮ้ย
has adopted. Okay, if we stack up the B site and they
แม่ง
don't
จะเช็ค
gamble all in on a full sprint to A
จะเช็คก็เช็ค
immediately,
ไม่สุด
we have already won. What a way to win a round, and that is something that I think is going to immediately put alarm bells onto the side of NAVI, because that is one player that has completely managed to dismantle your entire split.
And I hate to say it, Tom, but it's one player that you knew bloody well was previously there, or not in that corner exactly, right? But the room, you knew he was roughly there. And it's the spike swinging in solo. Ruxick too far behind. Yeah, it was a nice reaction to the shot coming at him from behind to throw that flash, but that is such a heavy blow to land early on, considering NAVI had such a good start to those first 2 rounds, and then all that good work is just undone thanks to one player hiding in a corner. 3-0 now
โมโห
for
เลยเมื่อ
BBL.
กี้
A strong start. This is the start that they faced off against basically their entire series yesterday.
I must wait a moment.
But there was something to point out as well, is that if you go back to the last Pearl versus Foot, Lover's Rock only managed to get 8 kills. I believe he's already on 7.
Yep.
So maybe a slightly better performance from him already. Out in the open, and there you go. That's number 8. He is matched in just 4 rounds the amount of kills he managed versus Foot, and it seems like LaRock is there to play as well. Both players' confidence is terrifying for the side of NAVI. The ult is going to potentially shut him down, but he's avoided it. Goes swinging for the rest of the team, and it doesn't quite catch him. Now the ult's going through on the other side. The flash low is perfect, leaves Ruxick in trouble, and they have cleaned up with relative ease. It looked like it could get dangerous for a second, bitch, but it didn't.
No, it really didn't. The early pick by Lover's Rock is a big reason for that as well. Taking Exit down in a round like this where your opponents are looking to just flood in and outpace you. Well, the Exit's kind of the key part of that strategy. So they get a lot less space than they wanted to. BBL are able to comfortably group up.
ปัจจุบันเนี่ย
Yeah. It's well, we did talk about Lover's Rock. You know, we did talk about the head-to-head with him and Exit, and that has been a head-to-head, just a bit of a one-sided affair. He's gone out on mid. He's crazy, and the reward is there. Even with LaRock going down, the man advantage persists for BBL, but they're not happy. They want more, and now they've got the spike. This team's playing so aggressive.
Oh yeah, this is the team you fear. This is the team you're worried about. This is the team that go back to kickoff, go back to last year, the team that we told was coming. And well,
เดี๋ยวมาแข่งกับโม5แล้วเกียรติดา
a consistent set of pushes. That is 10-0.
อันนี้แมป BBL
As said, he managed 8
แม่ง
kills
เสือกให้
in the
BBL กัน
entire
ก่อน
map last time around. He's done more than that in 5 rounds. He's averaging 2 kills around as we speak. And the players we highlighted, Loiter and Creven. I think Creven just got his first kill of the game. He hasn't had to do anything yet. I think there was 0-1 and 0-2. They've just been chilling while this double duelist completely takes over the game. This is what was the force to be reckoned with the Yoru back earlier in the year.
ก็ไม่แปลกที่มันออกพันเนี่ยว่า
Lover's Rock has found his form going into this match today. That could be enough to pretty much take this over the line.
BBL บอกหวานเจี๊ยบเลยให้การก่อน
They are going to be able to get onto this A site seemingly quite clean, but no, now Loiter has spotted them.
Yeah, rotations will come through, and super passive from BBL, knowing that backup will be here soon. Super passive. That was super passive from Lover's Rock. That's ridiculous, man. I mean, he was patient, but the second the first guy peeked, that was it. It was blood in the water. And a 5-0 now for BBL. As I said, coming into this game, the chances of NAVI running away with it, dominating BBL, quite low in my mind. They can win, but I think it will be a battle. But the chances of BBL dominating and running away with the game are quite high if they get a start. And a 5-0 start's about as much momentum as you could ever afford to give a Turkish team.
Well, I said, the most devastating thing is genuinely that you have a player that is now, I think, 12-0. Like, Lover's Rock has not missed a beat, and you can see there's a lot of players, like, when you get to, like, when you have 0 deaths, you start playing maybe a little bit just more. You're like, actually, I kind of like that. I want to keep that. He's not one of those players. He wants to keep adding to the numbers so that it looks more and more ludicrous. And until you shut him down, he's going to keep doing stuff like, okay, let me just slide it on Rooksik, probably the most
เนี่ยเพอของไปซิฟิกแม่งรับจ๋าเลยอะ
just try and
รับแบบรับ
1v1 him when
สั
we
สๆอะ
basically won the round already. It is terrifying.
อี
If
มี
you
บุ
are
ก
a
เฉย
NAVI fan, or if you're a NAVI player, and that's why Angel has decided to take himself a pause, get them talking, get them moving, because as of right now, they're not being obliterated by one player, because, you know, LaRock has had his moments, but
ทั้งเซนทั้ง
mostly
เร
by
นทาน
one player.
เซนมันโอ้โหมันอย่าไปยุ่งกับมันนะ
Yeah, I
เซ
think
น
the
มัน
numbers are a little bit weighted towards the top of that leaderboard for BBL right now. And again, like you said, it's not like anyone else has been needed. LaRock's been there a handful of times, but for the most part, it's been a one-man show. And here it is again, that head-to-head. This time, Exit comes out in the lead, and he'll find himself a second. Loida tries to step up to the plate to fight back. LaRock's here as well. The shots, they weren't landing, but they gave them too much time, too much reprieve for BBL. A 1 versus 2. It could have been cleaner, but first round may finally be on the board. The only man is one of the players we've said hasn't had to do very much.
คาดเดาไม่ได้
Now with the op in hand, he will be called
แต่
upon.
คำนวณจะวิ
He's
เคราะห์
got
มา
the
อย่างดีเลย
spike trapped.
Spike planted.
ก็คาดเดาไม่ได้
Rooksik knows of the danger. He knows of the gap, knows of one of the positions that could cause him problems, although it's saying that. I think both look at the wrong way. Did Hero just make the spot? I think he did. I think that was the information he needed. And eventually, they'll be able to get it home on the Thrifty. And that is one thing I will say. The one part of this map, and it is the only part of this map, that
เมื่อวาน
has
ดู
been
นา
going
วี
the
มัน
way of Navi so far is that A
รู้
side.
สึกฟอร์ม
Like when they
ฟอร์ม
pushed it
สู้
last
ได้
time,
อะ
even with the
มันไม่น่า
bandit, they
แมตช์
managed
มัน
to
น่าจะ
come
เอา
out
อยู่
of that in a positive position, and it came down to a clutch to win for BBL. This time they go again and again. Okay, that was horrible, but again they do come out on top. They come out on a 2v1 with Kreven on the other side. So I question two things. One, do they want to keep going that way and just keep taking that fight because it's been working? And two, did BBL maybe
ถือ
want
ว่านับ
to
หนึ่งวินแบบ
just
ถูก
throw
คิด
their
นี้
utility and give that up a
ต่อ
little
ยอด
bit?
เปล่า
Yeah, the thing is,
Yes,
Lovers
no.
Rock definitely looks at that fight and goes, "Oh, I'll win that next time, though."
Yeah,
Although the
exactly.
flash is very good, no chance from this, and they'll have to fall back to the site. Good contest from Navi. They've got themselves a main, but the plan won't be to just run into the A side afterwards. Of course, you want to now look for space elsewhere on the map. Now start to remove some of that utility. Like, look at the Cypher setup. We're talking about the impact of Kreven. They have B and doors completely locked down. Even if they break the camera here, if they're not close enough to see the trip, they're going to now go, "Hey, guys, we've taken information away from them. They don't know if we can..." They do know. They do know because they've got a trip as well.
ติดจะวาง A
Lovers Rock.
แต่ว่าบอม
Right back
ไป
to
อาร์ต
winning ways. The shots are almost just bait because he's got so many teammates
Ui.
surrounding him, looking to try and defend him. But
เหี้
he
ยแปลก
hasn't
จัด
taken down.
ยังไง
Rose on the edge.
อันติไล่ในไซ
He
ต์ที
waited
ปาก
patiently and he times it to perfection. Teammates
Dolo
have
อันติ
been
สวน
lost, but he's still holding his
39 วิ
ground.
หมด
Bilu at least will be
Go
able to get
reset.
one, but then Kreven swipes from behind. Of course, all of their sound was removed when they were hit by the Nightfall, so he's able to get in even cleaner. It was an opportunity
It's a
for
thick
Navi to
and
start
thick,
something, but it seems like they are right back to trouble
ถ้าจะมอง
town.
ว่าเป็นซิตุกก็ได้ครับ เพราะว่า
Yeah, and that
มัน
was
เพิ่ง
just
กด
his
โค้ด
game
ไป
plan
แล้ว
diff,
โค้ดใหม่
to be
มันไม่ได้
honest,
ทำ
from
งาน
the very get-go. As you
เมื่อ
saw,
วาน
that double trap
ผู้ช่วย
setup, the fact that there's a
โค้ช
camera and a trip
ทำงาน
sitting
แทนครับ
inside of the
Desmo
double doors. They go in, they break it, because
โค้ช
what did we
อิง
get? We
ยัง
got initial control of the
ยังไม่
map,
เริ่มงาน
then we take more
ก็เป็นไป
information
ได้
from your opponents. They're either going to push and give you a
แต่ฟอร์ม
fight,
ดีอยู่
or
ว่า
you
น่ะ
push in and
นา
they
วี
don't
อะ
know
สู้
you're
ได้
coming. But because there was a trip there was no panic. They immediately knew no one's pushed through, no one's taken space. We can stack A, and they have the extra player in the form of Rose that Navi just can't calculate is in position.
Right.
They don't have the information. Nice start with trades going out, but space towards the A side being contested. Still got a lot of utility to fight through, and they try to counter that on Navi's side by putting in the run it back, but it's shut down as well. The one upside here is look at the rotations. So much confidence in this Cypher setup, but it did leave one side of the map completely open. The benefit being that Neon can fill that space immediately.
Oh,
Yeah,
the
Navi-
timing could have been worse.
มาซาอุอะ
Three
มาจาก
players
โซ
that
นมี
swing
นา
through.
จริงๆเซนนาน
How
แล้ว
far
แต่
up
วี
is
ซ่า
Lovers
เพิ่ง
Rock
ผ่าน
going? He's going all the way. He's just going to fight them. The second they get around the corner, that's a nasty surprise. And now he's just going to escape. He has been so good at just getting the opener and running away. It almost feels like he's back on the Yoru again,
Yeah,
playing
Hero.
this Neon in the manner that
ฮิ
he
โร่แอน
is.
เซนเก๋อะไรเงี้ย
Houdini has returned, and you might see him walk away. You might know how the trick is done, but dealing with the trick is so much more difficult. What a game Lovers Rock is having. And while there is a very good reason that this time they are
เป็นเรื่องแล้ว
dominantly
ฮิโร่
leading rather than having to fight from behind.
ไม่ตื่น
You know, back in the day when Turkish teams used to play just all-out aggression, and it was a little bit more, fighter brain rather than thinker. And I think that it's funny to see the evolution where G2 back in the day, back in 2020, 2021, they played like idiots, but it worked, right? Because they were better than everybody else at just fundamentals of tac
They were
shooters.
FPS players.
Yes, they were FPS players, and it showed.
1-7 ไปแล้ว
But
ครั
when
บ
it came, we were always saying like eventually
โดนสไนเลอร์เวอร์
People
ตัด
will figure it
ให้หม
out.
ดวันนี้
it's almost the opposite. It's like when Turkish teams
Oh,
figure out how to
okay.
think and play
Maybe
structure
ตัวซ้อน
like
เนี่ย
that. You have an op take first fight, and then a player sat
เป็น
behind.
1
You have this utility swap up. Kreven's going out. Tempered
Ui.
aggression as
He's
well
going.
that we know they're capable of. There's a fast wrap on Art, but exit is too quick. He's already pushed through to the A site. No attempt to wrap around on him will be successful, and now Rose is down. The A site fully claimed.
Oh no! Rock, that's insane! That's insane! The running back just took the space and then he just killed everybody. I don't know how he's managing to just pull off all 3 kills in
Whoa.
a matter of seconds. And the hero's probably just sat there going, guys, what the hell just happened? What the hell just... And so am I. So am I. What have we just seen?
That was such a good round as well. My heart
NAVI
is
กำลังจะได้
breaking for
วิน
NAVI in this round because sometimes you have these dominant one-sided starts to a map
เว
and
ลา
it's
หล
like
อก
one
เฟก
team is making huge
ทุกอย่าง
mistakes.
จบ
I don't even think NAVI are making huge mistakes. They're making mistakes, sure, and there's gaps. BBL are forcing those errors more so though. They're playing a great individual game, and this time they play they do the right thing. They start with the mid fight. They get traded out on that initial op shot. It's a little bit of a bait, but the response is there immediately as they fight with Filu taking control over Art. They accelerate then, sending the Neon straight through to the A site, avoiding the re-fight from double doors, just completely ignoring it to get space on site to plant. Everything went according to plan. Literally couldn't have been better.
สงสัยจะ
And
ใช่
then he does that. Like what? Like, come on, man. They're trying. They're really trying. And BBL are giving no slack whatsoever. And that is the problem. What I was saying earlier is we hit this point with Turkish teams. We were like, damn, these guys are crazy individually, but they play kind of stupid. And when we get to the point where they refine this style, it could be so scary. And we're now in the era where it's no longer one team trying to refine it. It's the whole region has stepped up a level, and everyone else seems screwed.
เหมือนจะต้องไปอยู่นะวัน
That
ที่
was
7 อะ
literally because when I first saw it, I didn't even realize that was his ult.
กูเล่นแค่วัน
It
เสา
looked
ร์
like that. So basically, that man had a 4-second timer to kill everyone on their team, and he did it. Like it's
Yeah, it was his ult.
genuinely
Yeah,
like, it's like you're in a challenge mode on like some sort of niche indie game, and my man just broke the world record. Like it must just be so devastating to play up against that. But the saved rifle has been able to get rid of Lover's Rock, something they've really struggled to do throughout this game so far. They'll even be able to
โอ้
reveal
ยโลเล
where
ส
the remaining
ใจ
players
เย็น
are.
ต้อง
Phoenix
ใช้
gonna get his HP back up at least a little bit.
บางคนมันก็แมปไม่ได้เลือกมาก็โดนต่ำแบบชนะต่ำก็มี
Oh, great flash. It's a little bit shaky on the follow-up, but they get there in the end. The lucky double makes it look easy for NAVI, and there it is. The secret recipe is just to delete Lover's Rock at the start of the round. Great work by Hero to do that as well. Like you said, it has been a real struggle to get rid of that man, and it's why they were so comfortable leaving him alone, completely alone on that side of the map, knowing that just a bit of Cypher utility to keep the info is more than enough for your unkillable Neon. But
7 ต้องวันอาทิตย์ป่ะ
oh, his mortality
ใช่ไหม
tested and proven to be real.
He's not in God mode. We now know that he hasn't accidentally enabled God mode, and he does die. Not very often, but it is possible. And the response is the BBL decided you liked playing towards B. We don't like you playing there, so the Rock's just going to take that control away from you again. And they fully stacked up. They've swapped their cypher setup. In fact, there's a second layer on the trip, so that if they now look to go the other way, there'll be info there, so they know that nobody's pushing towards the spawn.
Shortcut. Take this.
โอ้โห
He's
เล่นง่ายเลย
disgusting, man. Kraven's disgusting the
ไม่ต้องระวัง
positions he
หลังครับ
puts these little trips in.
ดูแต่หน้า
Oh,
BBL
in the cage! Lover's Rock went down. He had to fight. Not done yet. LaRock with hot hands and Rose have come through for 2, and Loida doing the same. Oh man.
Comeback.
Heavy boots on the ground, but bodies soon after. 9-2 now. It is a lights out game. BBL are playing here on map number 1, and well, that's the thing, Tom. You know, we asked, would Pearl be the same as last time? Would it need players to have these insane individual performances? And I even said, you know, maybe it's not going to be Kraven, maybe it's not going to be Loida, but there's going to be someone. I didn't think it was going to be anywhere near this level of ludicrous.
No, like you even got. This is what I talk about with saying that it almost feels like Phoenix at times is a quasi-initiator. That was like solid utility all the way through that round coming out from Lorog. It's so much so that he even gets a kill with his Molotov as they're trying to execute onto the site.
ยี่
He's
ห้อ
having
มอง
a
พุท
great
ครับ
game, but it is being overshadowed by the fact that his teammate is having an even better one. But in that round,
แล้วไหลไป B
too much.
รอ
Again,
อยู่
look at
3
the
กระบอก
rotations
โอ้
they've
โห
already
เจอ
taken in.
ต่อ
They're just trapping them in. They're just waiting for them to try and make a move. They're fighting the running back because they know they have them surrounded. This is not a battle. This is an execution.
This looks like when you jump on as a 5 stack to queue you know, a ranked game of Dust for the first time, just Dust #1, and you come up against specialists. I mean, BBL just know this map better. They're playing it better. They're fighting for every bit of control better. They are better, at least in the first half. We'll find out if it's the same story in half number 2 after the break.
โอ้โหกูเห็นโชว์ลิกเมื่อกี้แล้วแย่ว่ะแย่จริง
Well, welcome back, folks. 10-2. It has been a speed run in the first half. And as we said, expect to see a lot of Neon today. We're still on that old patch. And you got to see exactly what we foretold. But Lovers Rock is taking it to another level here today.
Oh, yeah. No, I think he went 12-0, and then eventually it turned out that he could die. And Navi is still trying to figure out some way to deal with that. This has been a clinic, and maybe showed what would have happened if they got some of the early rounds the last time out already. It's looking good for them in this pistol round. That was their struggle yesterday. The first 4 pistol rounds didn't go their way, but the series still did.
นะคงไม่ชอบเพร์ลจ
looking
ริงๆ
like
อ่ะ
the first 2 may, but you do have to look at who's left standing on the other side. Hero and Ruxic. If you wanted somebody alive for a clutch, they are the 2.
Yet now is not the time to take your foot off the gas pedal. Maybe it's time to put your foot on it. Look, they're probably not going to win this map, but for NAVI, the next map, Ascent, against the Turkish team on this kind of a run, look, they need to find some hope soon, man. And Lovers Rock just keeps on going. 11-2. And at this point, for NAVI, it's got to start to feel like it's done. But like I said, we need that spark. You need to have some hope for the next map. Right now, it just looks like BBL are playing in a different league.
Yeah, I think most of the time, like after a map is finished, you might have a bathroom break, a small snack, and then a chat with the team. I think the entirety of that break might just end up as a chat with the team in the bathroom break. Well, you know, you only play for about 15 minutes with the way that this game is going, so I'm sure that can wait till later. It is looking like a very one-sided story. Of course, BBL as an organization managed to make it to EWC last year, but for these youngsters, for these players coming through, it's easy to forget that a lot of them are just 18 years of age. Qualification definitely be up there for them. Be a long series, a marathon, not a sprint, but they have come out of the blocks as quickly as possible. And well, that is incredible from Ruxic. Truly ridiculous. How have you managed 3 kills with a stinger and a classic? Well, you asked for hope, Mitch. I think he's delivered something more.
3 kills without reloading on that loadout is just pretty damn impressive, especially that quickly.
มันแค่ให้ความหวังเว้ย
Oh, yeah, spark of hope indeed. They're fanning that into a flame with a 4th for Ruxic, and ace would be something else. Don't you dare steal it. Philo! Give the man the ace. Come on. No! Yes, what a good teammate. And then Cloric stole it. Well, what can you do? He's being
จังหวะ
denied
นี้
an
ไม่มีแล้ว
ace,
เอ็ดอะ
robbed, some would
เอาวิน
say.
ก่อน
I would say, and I think he would say too, but a round is a round, and they have been hard to find so far for NAVI, so, you know, a surprise moment to pick it up, but better late than never.
Yeah, no, I don't know how he managed to get as much as he did in that scenario. Like, again, props to Ruxic for always being able to do things that it feels like nobody else can. He only had 6 bullets left when he took that second fight, but somehow that was still enough. Well, I guess Filu wanted the orb. He did get one, but at the cost of his own life. Of course, this purchase not going to be the best. Even still, Lover's Rock, while being hit by the trip, is able to get the opener. The swing out from Ruxic again, though. This man is doing everything. He is the hard carry. He's the savior. He's the only one on the server.
โอ้ย
Get
เพื่
this
อน
man some help.
Ruxic, come on, man. He's got
คำ
another
ว่าคนแมน
back-to-back
Back up.
4Ks. Ruxic is very much single-handedly dragging this team towards the finish line, but it is still so far away. Well,
น้องโอกายเลยครับ
bro, I can't
Viperdemon
believe a 2K with the third
Yeah.
then being a classic into a
ให้ความหวัง
4K
หรื
with
อเป
the
ล่า
retrieved
วันนี้
weapon 2 times in a row. Like, what are the chances of that in a game where you're being smashed as well? And this is genuinely a beacon of hope in the darkness.
He almost like well, excluding exit
Rating-
is true, but he
rating
almost
อันดับ
got
หนึ่ง
more
อะ
kills
อีเมีย
in the last 2 rounds than his whole team.
อุ้ย
Nice try, but
Oh.
yeah, that's a very good
Ruxic's dead.
anti-A
เป็น
main fight.
เรื่องเลยแบบนี้แม่ง
Yeah,
ตื่น
it was
ไปหน่อยวะ
basically the second they decide to fight A main,
Hilo,
they're dead. Like the
don't
whole
lie,
plan
Hilo.
there from BBL is we're gonna force you to fight us and make sure you can't fall back.
Hilo, oh, hi.
Nice trades out. Kraven's the
Solid
only one to
antiได้ครับ
fall as it was the ult from Larocque, and it was traded out for some pretty good damage. Chloric dead to rights, and the numbers back in favor of BBL.
Well, for me, it felt like
ใช้
a
กัน
lost
เยอะไป
round
เมื่
the
อกี้
second that Ruxic went down.
เอาไว้เดี๋ยวนี้มัน
We'll see if anybody
เดี๋ยวนี้มัน
else is
เมตาฟินิกเฟสไง
Maybe
เรา
taking
มาคอน
some
โทรลหน้าเอ
inspiration.
มีคอมโบเยอะ
Exit
อยู่
is
อุ้
the
ย
second on the board. and
แชมป์
you
สวัส
know
ดีค
what?
รับ
He's found one with the operator.
2-2
Not
ครับ
the best gun for the retake.
สกิลครบนะ แต่
It's
เป็น
now
สไน
going to be a rifle that maybe he can retrieve. Of course, closing these angles is not going to be easy. He knows he needs
แตะหนึ่
to
งทีครับ
to
เป็น
bait
ปืน
out that utility. Will be able to retrieve the rifle and even expects a player in the corner.
Oh.
The stun is good and he's
Oh.
maybe he will take over the round. Okay.
สวยอยู่
Exit
สวยอยู่
now steps up to the plate. Finally starting to see
แม
some
ป
of
หน้า
those
นาวีครับผม
individuals
ตื่นแล้ว
on the
นาวี
side
ตื่น
of
แล้ว
Navi. And although a
แบบนี้
victory
นา
in
วี
this
กาก
map is very far away. You know, Mitch, firstly, they did it yesterday, but secondly, as you said, I think it's important.
น้า
that we
บอกว่า
just
แม
see
ปนี้
some of
ลง
these
ไปเล่น
stars.
เอาฟิล
That's it.
Warm
You get
up.
13-2.
แพ้ไม่เป็นไร
BBL. You go into your pick of ascent. I really think that the BO5 is in jeopardy at that point, but seeing them wake up like this is so smooth by Exit as well. Like, so smooth. Looked like he was playing a single player game, but 11-5. Closing the gap is,
Yeah,
is
มันจ่าย
all
สกิล
that matters to
เละๆเลย
Navi now. Feeling like they've got a shot
เฮ้
when
ย
it
เฮ้ย
comes
เฮ้ย
to the next. That Molly is perfect. And an exact counter of what we saw in the previous round. Looking to seize that space back though, where BBL Larocque's already taken so much space, and Filu will fall. All in all, very good trades early on, but this fight indoors could be everything. And with Kraven falling, those recovered weapons will remain on the floor in A main.
โยงหรือเปล่าครับ ปล่อยให้เล่นอย่างนี้ก็อันตรายอยู่นะ
Seems like the
โลส
plan for
อินเกม BBL ครับ
the defense will be to split up and look for clues.
125
Of course, they do still have
พร้อม
Cypher
Phantom หนึ่ง
utility
กระบอก
across the map, which will be able to get them
วาง
little
สไปซ์เสร็จ
pockets of
มีอันติ
information.
เรื่องที่จะไป B
However, we're more so
ต้องจบ
looking
B
at
เท่านั้น
Rose.
ลิงก์มีแท็บ
Be
อยู่
able to get towards that B site without anything standing in his way. It's once he gets there, however,
เจอที่ B มีกล้อง
he will have to try and deal with Hero, who's just tucked into the back. Basically almost
จะ
just
เป็น
going to try
Hero
and sell the idea that there's no one here. Even the cam is going to give the
ระ
game
วัง
away,
เลย
maybe
เรียบ
even
ร้อ
make
ย
him believe that no one was on this side of the map. And instead, it's a free kill in the end for Hero.
You know, sometimes and over the past few days of the road to EWC, we've been surprised sometimes to see teams
เจนจีมัน
deactivated and then wake
Hey,
up
how about
completely.
here?
This is one of the less perplexing moments, because I do feel like we've seen games where teams play bad. Let's just put it that way. They play bad. whether it's as a team, whether it's the game plan, but that there's a lot of mistakes, a lot of errors. And so them then fixing that suddenly, you know, we know that they know how to play, so it's not terribly surprising, but it's always, you know, it's not the expected result to suddenly figure out how to play. In Navi's case, I don't think that's what's happened here. I don't think they've suddenly figured out how to play Valorant. They did a lot of things the right way. I think Kraven was such a pain in the ass on that defensive side, where almost every fight Navi went into, their opponent's hands were stacked. They had to rotate. That the players, think about that A site hit where Kraven's containing them completely, and Rose is just sat in the corner on A. They see 3 players on A and think, okay,
รู้สึกว่านาวิ
we
แม่
know
งจะ
where
มา
everyone is
เมื่อ
now.
วาน
No,
ลาล็อก
there's
กับ
a
เล
dude
เวอ
in
ร์
the
แม่งแบ
corner
บ
as well. He gets
มันไม่
2
ลั่นไง
rounds already
ดูวัน
over,
นี้
and
ดิ
Kraven kills them on the flank. Like, it just felt like they
เมื่
were
อวานเค
playing
เว่นกับลอย
with the
ต้าแม่ง
odds
ลั่นจับ
against them in so many of those rounds because of the game plan for
เชี่ยวันนี้
BBL
แม่ง
being
เกิดอะไร
so
ขึ้นวะเนี่ย
good and Navi not really being ready for it. So now we swap sides. They're on the defense, and they're starting to actually perform. We're seeing individuals light up. This is what I wanted to see. Because like I said, they get bombed out. Everyone's in a pretty low mood. But now we're starting to see that it was a game plan diff on the previous. And, well, they don't have to play Pearl again. So
เอาละ
that's fine for the BO5.
ไส้แตกครับ
The other
บอกเลย
side, just nasty. Clearly a counter read, clearly expecting someone to pressure this. Flash gone over, and it's all too easy for Ruxic
ไส้
again.
แตก
It seems like the player that they almost need to avoid at this stage, but this is clearly a thought-out plan, and they're not going to shy away from taking the fight themselves. You want to push us in mid, we'll push you in mid at a flawless round off the back of a pause. Surely Navi aren't doing this again. Like, it's not even been like, what, 18 hours since they did this to us last time? I'm not sure I could take another comeback of this sort.
It does seem harder to do against BBL, in all honesty. Like, the form that they had. So this is the other side of the coin, right? Navi were playing okay, but also BBL were playing sensational. Lovers Rock had one of the best halves we've seen on him.
วันนี้เจอแต่ทีม
Even
ไม่
go
พอ
back
หรอก
to the Yoru days. So there's no shortage of roadblocks, but now they seem to be tearing through them all. The problem here is that the A site is completely open, barring Chloric. And although now the read is there, the rotates are coming in towards this side of the map. B is being abandoned. It is a little bit late. And Chloric's going to have to back off, give that space as they fight for the retake. Depending on the timing here. Yeah, okay. Should be the they're going to fight Art. They're fighting Art already. The ult's gone through from Phoenix. So this is a very aggressive stance from Navi.
เฮ้ยโอ้ฮิโร่
Same could be said for their opponents,
โอ้
though.
โหฮิโร่เป็นไรวะ
You've
วัน
already
นี้
had
หนักเลยว่ะ
ults on ults on ults. They saved everything up and used
ฮิ
it
โร่
in
ได้
this
เมื่อกี้
round.
หวาน
And
เลย
now
อ่ะ
it's whether or
ง่าย
not
เล
they
ย
can
อ่ะ
hold on to this post plant. An advantage. Cosmic Divide faded. All those ults are now gone. And also their personnel are in trouble, but it seems like Larocque is defending them, holding back the line. Cloric with the trade, but even still a man advantage sits for this attack inside. The main problem is how low a player is. Rose, he's dodging, but he's not quite going to make it. And now the Cosmic Divide becomes a problem themselves. The tap is going to be heard. Defusal denied for now. They need to get on this, and they need to get on it now. And bear in mind, the player defusing was the low one. There's no chance here anymore for Ruxic. He'll be able to make it incredibly costly. He'll be able to remove the guns, but even still, Larocque will land the shot and then go down with the ship.
เมื่อกี้ฮิโร่ยิงตายจบละ
Extra orb for Larocque,
ลูก
but
พี่เขาหยุด
12 to
ยิงเฉยเลย
7,
วะเฮ้ย
and now they've got room to farm up those ults and play a big ult dump round on the
ไม่
attack
ตื่น
side
อะ
as well. Look, that's almost a trump card. This is where you then look to Navi. 5 in a row, a big task to try to lock this back in. And I do think that, look, the Phoenix ult made sense to pick up the pace on that Art fight. But when that got shut down so quickly, I expected to see them pump the brakes. But they got a little bit overeager for that battle, and I think that was the first domino falling.
Recovering it.
That took them some time. But now all that is needed for BBL is a singular round. Now, it's safe to say, if you use all your ults in one round, you no longer have them for the next.
นาวี
So
ครับ
they
แบ
don't
บ
have
หน้า
any more ultimates to try and get them through some of these awkward positions. The defense are almost grouped up in a death ball, walking round together. Kreven He's in the perfect position if they don't check, and they haven't checked, and so he's going to be able to wipe down two. Even has backup
Nick,
to help him a little bit more. This might be the
Nick,
beginning of the
yeah,
end,
you
unless Rooksik has something to say about it. And the molly is perfect. Larok read, like, okay, if Rooksik's going to be anywhere, he's going to be in the smoke.
Yeah, and the fact that they lobbed the season just seconds earlier, he sits, Rooksik doesn't shoot back. It's like, okay, I think I'm making it out of here. I survived the spams. Molly in his feet. He's cremated.
3
This is it. A 4
1
versus
4
1. What a fight back by
แล้วเป็นโชว์ลีก
NAVI.
ด้วย
They looked like they were going to get
พูดได้คำนี้
completely
ว่า
shut
สถานการ
out
ณ์
of
สิ้น
this
หวังครับ
map. But towards the end, we saw signs. We saw sparks flying. But unfortunately, it doesn't look like they caught in time. Now,
GG.
Ascent comes up with a 1-0 advantage for BBL. 13-7, still a pretty dominant showing by the end of it, Tom, but I am at least happy that we saw NAVI find their footing towards the end.
Yeah, for sure. I think it was important. Like, even though this game ends up still being, like, on the scoreboard a bit of a blowout, like, it didn't look particularly close, it was more so that first half was so incredibly dominant that if we saw nothing from Navi, I'd be going into map number 2 going, well, this is still a Turkish map. Like, if we're going to get Lovers Rock and Lorok just being the best 2 players in the server, it doesn't really matter if this is somewhere that Navi feel comfortable. But now I've seen a little bit of a resurgence. I still feel like going into their map choice, they should be feeling comfortable and go, okay, we can write that one off. We started cold. We've not performed well in map number 1. So now we need to get back on the horse and see what we can do, because even looking compositionally, I'm expecting to see a change to maybe something slightly more meta
ทุกคน
from
เดี๋ยว
the
พี่ลงไป
BBL side. So although this is
ซื้อน้ำก่อน
the pick
อ
of
ยากกินอะไรแบบ
Navi,
ซ่า
the variance could come with what BBL decide to run.
Well, indeed,
The map
this is our...
เรียกมาแล้วเขาไม่ขายมาละ
us. And
ลงไป
Tom,
รอสั่ง
it is fair to say for
หยิบของเลยเสร็จ
BBL,
ปั๊บ
their map pick,
หยิบเรียก
it went
มือ
very
มา
much according to plan.
ไม่
A
ขาย
fantastic first half,
วันพระ
especially displayed by them here today. You think that now
Solid.
moving into the next map, that Navi are screwed or dead to rights?
นา
Surely not.
วีบุกก่อน
I don't think they're dead to rights. I am still a little curious if we're going to see some
สูงชัวร์
adaptations for them
100%
because their attack side yesterday was pretty poor. Like I think they had 3 individual rounds, and then if it wasn't for the pistol, it would have been quite
เจ
a
อนาวี
dominant
ไป
path
แต่
in
ทอน
the
ไม่ค่อย
other
ดีครับตอนนี้
direction. The other side of the coin, though, is very interesting because I don't want to say the composition is crazy from the side of BBL, but you have LaRock playing Deadlock the last time they played this map. So
Yeah.
I don't know if that's necessarily going to be something that continues. The Jet, I think everything else, Jet, Cypher, Omen, Sova, standard. Like it's nothing too crazy. But yeah, the Deadlock is just something a little bit unorthodox, and it seemed like defensively it worked wonderfully for them. They had a great map, and then on the attack it was horrible. They didn't seem like they had the same problems of old, basically, where you don't have a lot to get you into the sites, and if that starts going wrong, it falls apart. So what we have seen from BBL over the last few weeks playing in this tournament is they massively moved towards the meta. Like they were having Lovers Rock on Neon an awful lot. We've seen the Phoenix coming out from a LaRock a lot more, and rather than trying to define it themselves or go back and regress to old metas, in this tournament we've seen them really join everybody on the meta. So I want to see if that's going to be the same on Ascent, because we're yet to see them play it in this tournament.
Yeah, well, we haven't seen them play it all year, barring that one matchup against Heretics, who I think also don't really play it very much at all. So it was an OT loss, but still an OT push. No one's ever going to come into a matchup and say, oh, does this Turkish team know how to play Ascent? Like, obviously it's a comfort ground for most players from that scene, therefore for most teams from what we've seen in the past. But I do think that there is a danger lurking, because the map will not be a complete foreign ground for them, and Heretics tried to pick it against BBL. So this was a surprise to them as well, I'd imagine. They got a surprise when they almost lost the map. But Navi now coming in on the back of a loss like that, what could have been a complete blowout loss as well. Momentum is such a big deal for squads like BBL. We've heard it from them themselves. It definitely does make me a little bit worried that we could be in for a shutout, and that's more so where the starts are going to be super important for Navi. I want to see them coming in with the pistol round. I want to see them at least fighting for that third if they lose the pistol, and I want to see some confidence, because we definitely got that towards the end. We started to see throughout. Roxic was great, but we started to see Exit step up to the plate, some good rounds from Filu as well. We just need to see that carried forward, bring that half 2 energy to Ascend.
Yeah, for sure. I think that a lot to be desired, and actually they are going to stick with the same composition, so clearly feeling like that's something that can work out for them with that double Sentinel, and Kraven bringing in the Cypher, of course, is the other. It's definitely the attack side I'm a little bit more wary of, but I guess they might have just looked at it and gone, look, we're starting on defense anyway. We can just get off to another flyer of a half. It's not really going to matter if we close out those remaining couple of rounds. And I will say, and I wouldn't say that like going in like Deadlock is one of my favorite agents, but I do enjoy watching Deadlock. I think if you watch a good Deadlock player and has a lot of like strong nets and has like a lot of trap setups that are awkward, especially even in post plants, can be quite nasty. I find Deadlock very entertaining, and LaRock is one of those players, like as said, he can kind of do anything. He can make anything look good. It's just when most people are running a Phoenix on this map, you kind of go, well, what would I rather see LaRock playing, a Deadlock or a Phoenix? I'd rather see him play Phoenix.
Yeah, I think last map was a pretty compelling case for that as well. So
yeah,
I'm on board with you this time. And looking at the Deadlock conversation, to briefly say, we've seen many years of Cypher. The same for Killjoy as well. It's hard to surprise people when you play those agents. People tend to know everything that's in your wheelhouse, even from a viewer perspective. But then when it comes to Deadlock, there's a lot of things you can do to catch people off guard and to bring out some new plays, even if they've been around for a while, so people aren't that familiar with them or aren't that used to reacting to them. And those things can definitely give you an upper hand in some of those fights. Now, a very slow pistol round from Navi. They just play the control on left side of the map, fight for mid and short, and leave a trap behind to cover the walk up on A. A nice little bit of early battling done short, where LaRock has traded HP pretty effectively with Filu, but they don't get any info on the defensive side from that, yet still seems like a bit of a shift away from A.
Saw this before. They love to try and go for these B splits, and it's something that's being watched. Lovers Rock now on that Jet, just watching the cross, has been dealt with. but Exit has taken an awful lot of HP in response, and even has to be a little careful of the trip itself. Rotation in from Larocque, who was already low. That's now the spike. Bear in mind, I think Larocque... Oh, no, he has used his wall already. Okay, I was about to say, if he still had that, that would have been dangerous, but I guess danger lives around every corner anyway. Loiter with the kill onto Hero.
30 seconds left.
Floric now. Good luck with this one, Champ. I don't think you're getting around that corner.
Well, Team Ace is quite a healthy start for BBL. Pistol round working out wonderfully, especially as it definitely did look like they were under a bit of pressure for a moment there as the attackers break through mid, but Rotate had already come through, sending one player from that mid spot all the way around to B. Good containment then from Lovers Rock, and away you go. Pistol round under their belt. And I think that for the start here, when we saw that first shot by Lovers Rock, I realized that, you know, we didn't really touch on what we said for Navi, the things that went right towards the end. But the worries here, if Lovers Rock gets off to a belter of a start, if Larocque is finding a lot of impact. Well, there was an impact there. It was straight to Larocque's head.
ใจร้ายไปหรือเปล่า
Yeah, the fact that he's able to just get ahead of that wall. Again, another win for the Bandit. This is a blind fight for Rose. Somehow Rose took 0 damage in that initial battle, by the way, but Exit has now decided to play around the edge, but Kreven predicts it.
Yeah, unfortunate when you're that low. Spam can take it down so easily. It's just a question of damage for Navi. It would make this a worthwhile round if they can just keep trading out, but they might even be in for a win here. What a fight from Navi. It all comes in the back of Exit, just blitzing faster than anybody expected on the other side, beating the deadlock wall. As a result, it seems like they've beaten BBL in this round. Loida, last man alive. He's put it down to a 1v1, but time here so low. Ringer Rosie from Chloric. He's using his brain rather than his aim. He's heard the steps, and the round's already his. Nicely done in the 1v1, and even better overall for Navi in this round.
Yeah, and an important one as well, because we know that their attack side has been the weaker. We know that they needed a pretty hefty comeback yesterday even, in playing that defensive side. So I think that them getting this early round is massive for them. I think it's going to be irritating as well for the side of BBL, because all it really does come down to is just him getting ahead of that one piece of the wall. They get the entire site for free. They're able to put themselves into a winning position, and that's what lets the round slip away.
Camera taken out.
Of course, in this round, not going to be a whole lot available, and Loiter has already been obliterated on shore.
ไม่มีคำว่าฟรีครับ
Lovers Rock follows as well. He was worried about Ruxic being up top, but a man was down below.
Throwing net.
And the Rock, he has caught him. He's hit him with the net. Ruxic's going to have to let him know eventually, but he's just worried someone's going to swing around that corner. Get rid of his rifle. He's going to stay hunkered down for the time being. Meanwhile, the B hit comes through. Drone broken. Player spotted. Do they see? Yeah, they know both are here as well. So that's all the information there to play with now for the attacking side. The only thing is maybe Larocque could catch them off, but as he comes through the smoke, his quick rotation revealed. A loss in the pistol round. There we go. Yeah, a loss in the pistol and a 2-1 start. Beautiful stuff for Navi.
Yeah, it's not bad individually from Larocque to do a little bit of damage, but yeah, the fact that they've been able to come out into this round with a full buy, also having the run it back onto Filu, it's putting them in a fantastic position to set up into this attack side half. And as said, it's normally the one that they have struggled on a little bit more and then had to sort of bring it back on the defensive side. So the fact that they're already in the lead and have a strong boost to their economy early in this map, it's about as good as it gets.
Oh,
nice start for Exit. That's the danger for Navi's side. If he starts to feel it in those early fights, I mean, we're now starting to see him come in with a lot of that early impact. He's the reason that they have the lead right now as well with that A pick earlier on. He's removed a vital utility belt from BBL in terms of their ability to take some aggressive fights, to deny map control, to reactively put down paranoia. It's all gone. Larocque wants to trade it back. He senses Exit could be in this corner, but Exit's seen him.
No escape.
It's dangerous as Larock goes down so low and looks to swing. If he swings in here, he's dead. And in fact, Lover's Rock is first. The Molly forces him back, but Filu is hunting him through it. The wall in his way, but it won't last long. And, well, Filu falls. But Rooksik is standing by. Paranoia will land. In fact, it lands a little too well. it hit Exit, who was just spinning around on the site, trying to be a distraction. But great work from Navi overall. And this is very scary now for a squad that, as we said, we expect BBL to have the potential to run away with it. Not so much Navi, but what we're seeing in these last few rounds tells a different story.
Yeah, I'll be honest. So far, Larock's utility has looked like more of a deterrent to his gameplay than actually helping.
Yeah.
Like, the trap there did at least a little bit to stun up Rooksik from killing him quite as fast. But it seems like each time he almost gets caught throwing the wall, it's just not him having his gun out. And it might sound silly, but when you have a guy who has as much raw aim as Larock, I want to see him with his gun out as much as humanly possible. Like, if he's throwing a flash, I don't mind, because he's throwing a flash so he can aggressively take some space. But it does just feel like, at least right now, he's focusing so much on how that utility can be used. I think he's died most rounds without being able to shoot a bullet.
And it's sort of bringing me back to that old conversation of, like, is it the right comp for the map or the right comp for your team on that map? And what we're seeing here is, yeah, a comp that has a lot of ideas behind it, ways that it can be used. That's great. And potential to catch people off. Sure, there's a lot that could go for it, but Larock, he's shown us on the Phoenix how strong he could be.
Cage triggered.
And right now, maybe this isn't a comfortable spot for him to play from if you're seeing him with the utility in hand more than the rifle. Larock again, ready with the C's, and the net goes through. Lover's Rock gets out with a rifle. Very nice stuff. Potential for it to go even better if there were players caught in that net. But Lloyd and out. Paranoia early. Door closed. Just trying to delay. Trying to buy time as the rotates come in.
Go, go, go.
Yeah, probably screaming for help.
Cage triggered.
They can the leaf out of Sayonara's book. They've got so much information, but it's Exit again doing fantastic work on these entries. Even still, the trades come back to give an advantage over to this defensive side, and they're ahead of a lot of the utility. That wall has not delayed them. It leaves one man underneath who has no chance. Another big individual round from Lover's Rock. And, well, I would say good work as well from Loiter. Just being able to delay them enough that that wasn't just him fighting alone.
ไม่ควรแบบว่าคอนโทรลแมปเฉยๆอ่ะเมื่อกี้มันแหลมไปหน่อยวะ
Now 3-2 now. A tight early game.
แล้วน้ำไม่บอกเหรอ
This is where the game starts to heat up. We're seeing some ideas there from BBL to play that bit more passive towards B main, finding openings, getting the rifle into the hands of Lover's Rock, and that certainly paid off. But the adaptation has to be there from Navi now.
ที่มีความไม่เห็นยังไงที่เขาไม่จับคิวจอยมาแทนหมวกขาว
Passive outside B, holding for that push up, which might come in later on if they put the pressure on the A side. I like
จ
this
ริงๆมันก็ดีคนละแบบนะครับ
slow approach, and they're getting what they wanted out of it.
คอนโทรลแมปดีกว่า
Camera confirms it though.
ครับตอนบุกอะ
And now there'll be no battle.
คิวจอยตอนบุก
And the only thing about that is, putting the cam up that late, they know now that that's probably the lurk on that side of the map. I wonder if Navi want to play into that.
They're pushing forward. Tagged up. Lover's Rock. He still does well, though. In fact, he's still standing. I thought he was dead for sure. And now with Rose swinging through the smoke, he was just waiting for that contact. This trap setup has worked. Okay. Rose needs to be a little bit careful not to give the game away. There's still aggression on the other side of the map, and Rooksik has his ultimate available just off that kill alone. I think he realized it. Okay, if I get a singular kill catching players rotate, I can get us the spike. I can put us in a position which makes this possible. Still unlikely, but possible.
I was going to say, Lover's Rock was looking a little bit over-eager, but he's waiting now for the rest of the squad to come and join him. Tagged up as he is. Needs to be the distraction on the way through, just in case they land that stray shot onto him, and here we go.
สองคู่ตุรกีครับ
Hero's taking a bit of space. It's not a nice fight because he turned his back on Rose. Done for as Lover's Rock finishes out the round. We're neck and neck, 3-3. 4 players alive for BBL as well. It's a big moneymaker round.
Yeah,
You're on
I
our
like as well that
All is well.
one of my main critiques was the fact that Larocque was just getting caught all the time with his util out. They swapped him to the other side of the map. They've put the full Cypher setup alongside Loiter, so they've got a lot of delay, less personnel, like less people over towards that A side of the map, but basically just allowing them to use that Cypher setup. Kreven's always a safe pair of hands whenever you have Cypher in position. They're doing it again. It's going to be the same.
มีครับ
Have
ที่
that
เฮด
Cypher
ไปรอ
on
อยู่นะค
that
รับผม
side and then move Larocque, because let's
จี
be
เหลือ
real,
3 สล็อต
the
เพราะว่า
first couple of A hits that we saw out from
เอา
Navi
สล็อต
was
แชม
just
ป์ลีแล้ว
Larocque
ให้
getting domed, and that's
ที่
the
เฮดไป
site gone.
Yeah, and also any attempt to keep B main info with Cam just isn't working.
ตุร
When
กีทีม
you're
ไหนยิง
gonna
โหดสุด
constantly
ครั
have
บ
Hero lurking up late to destroy that utility. That's why they had that set up in B main,
ตอนนี้ผมต้อ
baiting
งบอ
in
ก
the
ว่าเป็น
fight.
BBL นี่แหละครับ
Short good.
This time much more direct from Navi, and we've seen Larocque do well. They came to the other side of the map, but now his util to be pressured. He delays them to start with,
ก็จะเอา
puts
จ
the
ริงนะ
wall in the laneway, and now
แอบ
even
ให้
more time coming
ถ้า
off
เอา
that
ตุร
clock
กี
when
ล้
the
วน
wall
แอบให้
breaks.
ข้างน
There's
อกไป
even a
ยิง
trap
โหดกว่านะ
waiting for the drop down. Reveal onto the switch. 2 players spotted there. They know on the side of Navi that they're being read now. That all those numbers are adding up on one side, and it's given them
เฮ้ยขอบ
clear
คุณ
direction.
ฟิลด้วยครับ
Huge
55 เดือนนะครับ
tags. As Loida and Kreven follow up, there is still a fight back from Navi. They're not letting this one slip just yet. Spike's still under their control, and a 2v3.
Oh, there's a risky peek out from Larocque, but he got the information he wanted. He knows the players are still
One
here.
enemy
Now
remaining.
just waiting with gun in hand, and that's it. This way is the most dangerous. Remove all the utility. Give him the ability to just shoot sometimes. And you expect that he will not miss a beat. He also has the Annihilation, his ultimate online, if
30
they
seconds
really
left.
wanted to play this one nice and safe. I think they'll know as well that Chloric
Yeah,
is
yeah.
not a man that you want to give clutch opportunities to. Heretics learned that back in the early weeks. Now, though, he's trying to bait them into a fight, but I like this. Give him nothing. Wait for the plant to go in. You know he's trapped into a corner. You know he's not doing anything cheeky. The stun was still on the site, but he still managed one. It won't matter in the
Okay.
end. Rose, a very quick trade, and I have to say, a couple of very good rounds from the IGL.
You failed.
ถูกต้อ
Well,
ง
it was
ครับ
true
ผม
even going
ให้
back to
3
last
ก่อน
map,
ชนะ
and I think when you look at the fact that on Pearl defensive side especially, there were so many good reads. I think Rose has been having an even better game than it seems like.
I'm out of here.
And overall for BBL, this has definitely been a couple of rounds that inspire some confidence, and Navi see that. They call a timeout now, not happy with how these rounds have gone. And it's no surprise when you consider the fact that they were mapped down, it was 13-7, and it was lights out from BBL. Now they start to heat up, they take the lead out of your hands as well. And this BO5 starts to look like there's a whole lot less room for error as this goes on. I'm not mad at Navi taking a moment here to breathe.
Yeah, I think especially when you look back to how the game started, you win round 2
เดี๋ยวนี้
and
ครับก็จะ
3.
มี
You then break back
Epo
almost immediately
Super
after that
Spike
as
ครับ
well to give
Epo
yourselves
Super Spike
a lead,
Viper
and then
VG
it's a few rounds in a row where I think we witnessed an adaptation coming out from the defense, the heavy switch of their setup. Okay, Cypher now on the other side of the map, Deadlock on the other.
ไม่ให้เข้าชาร์จ
It's something that's working a lot better. I think you even see the sensors having much more impact, slowing down the B hit than they were doing over
ไหว
on
ครับ
A,
นะ
where
เอ
he
ง
was
ไหว
trying to risk it with the wall.
ขอ
And
ว่า
now
กันดาวหน้า
Navi need
ดา
to
วนี้ไม่มีปืน
find an adaptation to that. I think that initially some pressure into mid would
แล้ว
have
ฮีโร่
worked,
เมื่อ
but
วาน
then
ลั่น
even
แบบ
when they were using the
ลั่น
blaze,
เหี้ย
the Filu firewall to try and get them through, the cam
วันนี้
was
แบบ
still tagging them over the top
วัน
of
นี้
it,
กู
and
ศ
that
รัท
was
ธา
an
หลับ
issue.
สนิท
And he's had a bit of a slow start to the game, which realistically, the main value of the Phoenix, get lots of kills, get lots of orbs, get that running back, and it gives you a free entry into
น้อย
the
ครับ
side.
โซวี่เดี๋ยวนี้น้อย
Well, so far, when it comes to stats in the EWC qualifier for EMEA, Ascent has been the most defensive side of map that we've seen. And I think for BBL at this point, showing that they've got the lead. Navi, previously, they've only been picking up a round here or there.
Running low.
เอ้า
They paused early to look to rectify things, get rounds on the board early. Trap caught onto exit. That is a death sentence. As I don't think the shorty blast even caught it. So Kreven gets to kill him for free. Now the ult through to secure the round. And McCloric falling, it looks like it wasn't even needed.
Flawless.
The formality now is the ult will finally get there. Larocque's second kill of the round and a 5th on the board for BBL. Yeah, this has been a very
งบ
defensive sided
2,000
map when it comes
QCK
to
Heavy
EMEA,
เคย
but
ใช้ QCK
Navi kind
Performance
of allowed them
ตัว
to get
บา
away
ลาน
with
ซ์ครับ
too much.
The funny thing as well
เป็น
is when you
QCK
hear
อัปเกรด
that
อันโค้ด
deadlock
ตัดตรงนี้เลย
ult go off, it
เมื่อวาน
lasts
พี่
for
ไปสู่
so
ถุง
long
นะพี่
in
กำลัง
terms
ช่าง
of
ใจอยู่ว่า
how
จะซื้อ
long
ดี
you
ไหม
can fire it that I was like, oh, what, like 5
Exactly.
seconds
Maybe
gone by? He
blind
must
on.
have missed. He must have like fired it into mid, try and kill it somewhere else, and then you see it catch someone. You're like,
I'll show them.
ah,
แทน
they're
ที่แม่ง
screwed
จะยัด
now
เข้าไซ
because
ส์
he
ไป
held
เลย
it long enough
สัตว์
that it
เอ้ย
wasn't
ตอน
like
เนี้ย
okay,
ติด
5 players or 4 players could just spam onto the guy
จัด
trapped. He only had one teammate left. A different avenue as well. The operator hasn't really been a big piece of the
ได้
puzzle.
เนาะเฮียไก่เดี๋ยวน้าเองจัด
Just yet.
ให้ไม่ต้องห่วง
Poor Lovers Rock, but maybe realizing, okay, they're going to try and take some space into middle. Gotta be careful though. He might be dead here.
Yeah.
Look how far out he's gone.
It's because they caged the
They haven't
cross.
seen him. They're going to
They
see him
didn't-
in a sec.
They didn't even notice that they saw the barrel, and he's right down below. The dash might get him out, but no, he's caught by exit just before, and the shot didn't land, so it's not even a trade. Numbers favoring Navi, and they instantly pick up the pace, looking towards this A site. Hunter's Fury, there's a tag. They found at least one towards the site. Rose, though, creeping up. He might have a backstab now, making his way through the tree. In for one. And a real thorn in the side. They're not looking. Rose running all over them. And now he's locked him out. Okay, well, he's been taken out through the smoke, but still, a 3 versus 2. And those players are caught behind the smoke, still have to make it through the choke. It's another big round from Rose.
40 วิ2-3 ยังไง
I
ดี
think the singular kill Kraven gets from the corner as well. It didn't really give away his position, and maybe they focused in too much. 30 seconds.
30 seconds left.
There has been a rotation. Bear in mind, Loiter is incredibly low, but he's playing an off angle, trying to at least, and well, an instant headshot is going to help him out significantly. A few seconds from a smoke, but also a few seconds from his teammate making it back in. On for Cloric. His time is ticking away
10
from him.
seconds left.
Needs to go for this stick. Already the swing
เชี่ย
out
เวลา
from
ไม่โคตร
Loiter,
น้อย
his
แม่งเสือก
teammate.
บวกหลอก
I don't
ที
think
ม
would have been able to trade that immediately, but he was confident he wasn't missing that shot.
Thank you.
Yeah, and the timing as well, just as he plans. You know you'll catch him pulling the weapon back out. Lloyd takes the decision to get ahead of the curve on that. Yeah, great work to start from BBL Rose, making his way through the tree cage just as they were pushing the site. It left only the Cypher to watch their back, and Rose was able to eat through that
เ
defense.
ฟอร์แมนก็เหมือนพวก
Well, I suppose
แผ่นของ
offensive
เมาส์ตัว
defense
แพงๆแล้วครับ
very quickly
ไม่ต่าง
indeed.
มาก
Nice
มันเป็น
work.
อันโค้ดแล้ว
6-3 now, and
มัน
for
ตามเทรน
Navi,
อยู่พวกนี้
after that pause, we still see them slipping
วางขายเย
further
อะแล้วด้วยตอนเนี้ย
and further away. It's 5 rounds in a row now for BBL. And again, this was a pistol round win for BBL, but an immediate response from Navi. 3 in a row there, and the game hasn't felt competitive since. That's a great net, but Exit's already passed it. He's already close on the site, and he'll at least find himself one. But how much more can be found from this point? Okay, good work by Filu. We're down to a 3v3.
ตัวใหม่
They
ตัวใหม่
brought
เรา
this
ไม่เสิร์
back.
ฟดู
I thought the initial setup was going to be enough to shut them down, but once again, they managed to fight back in and make this a competitive round. It's feeling like they need this round, and well, Lovers Rock. Okay. I was about to say, Filu looked like he slipped the net with Rose not looking, and then he didn't kill him. I'm not sure what went wrong there.
Yeah, I feel like I slipped into a coma for a minute there. It felt like there was like 5 seconds. 3 seconds, let's say, less dramatically, where they were looking at each other almost, and neither of them shot. I don't know what that was. Maybe it just seemed to be slower in my mind. So unusual. Either way, 7 on the board. Let's see if we catch it in the replay.
Oh, this is a nice spot.
Oh yeah, just
This was nice. Here it is. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it's like it's close to 3 seconds. What's happening?
They're like mugging each other. I don't know what's just gone on. That was so weird. It's just the cheeky pout while staring each other down. I'm like a Zoolander moment. I have no idea what I've just watched, but hey, Lovers Rock was awake at least.
There.
I knew Blue Steel could stop shurikens. I didn't know it could stop bullets, but there we go. I've learned something new here today. 7-3 on the board. It's now 6 in a row for BBL. The team already 1 map to the good. This best of 5 starting to get cut down to size if Navi don't wake up soon. But it was always on their attack side, just around here or there.
ต้องได้
This is a chance for them
แค่
to
2 คนใน
streak
ไซต์
2 together
ยังไง
when it comes to buy rounds. I'm talking about. They very much need it. Hero's the one to start.
ตัวเดียว
Opens it up. Kraven trading, but
ใส่
Kraven
เคลียร์
surrounded on the site. That
วาร์ปมา
ult shouldn't be committed. It shouldn't be committed, but it is. Loida
โอ้
gets one from backside, but it was Larock with a triple kill that left him with all that space.
8-4 เสมอตัว
Amazed by what BBL are
walked
able to
out.
do, man. They have the right plan. They play things. They play sometimes a little too aggressive, but then also they bail themselves out of every
He
bad
just walks the
situation.
smoke. He hears that they're just rushing in onto his teammate of Kreven, and he just walks the smoke and just kills two as they go down the laneway. He heard all the steps,
Disgusting.
and then clearly the player from main just wasn't ready for that to happen, wasn't watching, and then he kills the player in main as well. So, yeah, rough one.
Yeah, hold this L. Hunter's Fury, nice and early from the attack. NAVI, they've got a tag, but not the follow-up. LaRock, whoa, hold on. He's down to a sliver of health.
รายการนี้ไม่ตามพอเหมือนกันใช่ครับ
Spam or
แพทเก่า
dart or
ด้วยครับผม
something in there, but-
บางทีมเหมือนแบบ
But he's
You leg
surviving.
someone with an ult?
เขาก็เตรียมตัวแพท
It
ใหม่
didn't look like it was
บาง
two
ทีมก็
hits,
เตรียม
right?
ตัว
But
ไป
I'm fairly certain you can't hit someone twice with a Hunter's Fury and they live to tell the tale. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Leg
ตอนนี้
hit
แต่
with
ละ
a
ทีม
Hunter's
มัน
Fury
เก่ง
first
กัน
time.
หมดแล้วว่าแบบทีมไหนแบบ
I don't
ผ่อน
think anyone
นิด
could
ผ่อน
have
หน่อย
spammed
มัน
him
ก็
unless it was like an
พร้อมที่จะ
instant
โดน
shock
แซง
dart at the start of
โด
the
น
round
ต
that
บแล้ว
landed.
Yeah, or maybe the molly. He was dodging and the
Could be
molly
Molly.
was over.
Hot hands could be. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff there that can cause that
หลาย
kind of
ลี
an
กนะ
issue.
ไม่ใช่แค่ลีกเรานะทุกลีกเลยครับยิ่ง NA นี่คือแบบคนละโลกเลยตอนนี้
Feels like he's living on borrowed time, but it's probably the one play you'd really want to have cleared. 45 seconds. There's the counter. Hunter's Fury.
ใช่แล้วครับอา
Opportunity
ทิต
for
ย์หน้ากู
damage,
เซ็น
but they
แข่ง
might
แล้ว
just be a
นะ
little bit too far away at this stage. Loiter under pressure, but again, he's going to close the door. But just
Two.
before it closes, Lovers Rock has hit a shot through the gap. Time ticking away, and they're
Hey,
only
NAVI
just
ไป
landing
คู่นี้แล้วแหละ
into LaRock's setup. Him being alive is a general irritation, but they are wrapping through the heavens. It's something that Lovers Rock is noting. 25 seconds left. He is in the right place at the right time. Filu trading one out, but they need so much more. The shot dart might even get a kill, and it will. And now Filu is all that remains. That time has been going. Oh, he's run out of bullets. He's right. That's going to waste another 3 seconds. Oh, dear Lord. That couldn't have got any worse. 9-3. I don't know how, from the position they were in, Mitch, they have ended up at losing that half 9-3.
Well, that was hilarious right at the end as well. Rose on a sliver of health in the corner. He's like, yeah, you might get me, but you're going down with me. I like that. I like that final stand. But this is the game that, again, we were worried about. For NAVI to run away with it seemed unlikely, but they started 3-1 up by losing the pistol and then decimating BBL's economy with an answer. Yet here they are trailing 9-3. It seems like this is BBL's spot at EWC, but this is a best of 5, and this is a first half of map 2. We'll be back after the break for the rest.
ขยันเปิดเพลงจริงๆเมื่อวานไม่ไอดูเอลมันไม่ค่อยลั่นเท่าไหร่ เป็นแบบลอยต้ากับเครเว่นแม่งลั่นช่วยเยอะช่วงแรกๆอ่ะที่วันนี้อยู่ดีๆดูเอลแม่งลั่นเฉยเลยคาดไม่รู้จะคาดเดายังไงเลยเล่นนี้สรุปนาวี่ไม่ได้หลอกเราเอฟมาติกอะหลอกเราครับ
And now the second half is where they have to recover things.
เฮ้ย
Well, not a bad
ขออีก
start.
หนึ่ง
Cloric holding the line, but he's
Oh,
going to
wait,
need
map
more,
can
and
wait.
he's got it.
Down B.
Second kill, eventually dealt
Map can.
with, and
Oh, no.
Rock now doubles down as well. Anything you can do, he can do better, and that is for most things in life. Leaving them in an even scenario, but that
enemy remaining.
spike is not
2-1 ครับ
planted
ลาหลอก
yet.
คนเดียว
They're
เจ็บแล้ว
swinging. They're fighting. They wanted to
Bomb
maybe
in the
try and
moon.
get ahead of things a little bit here. And it almost
Oi.
seems like maybe a bit of an
Yeah.
overcook.
Yeah, I think Rose just stuck
Oh,
around
wait,
that door for too long, so had to cross in the open
เชี่ยสวยแล้ววะ
or stay tucked and probably get taken down in the retake. And this has worked out really well. I actually thought this was a bad rotation that
Yeah.
LaRock's going for. Because it's been so long that NAVI would realize if he's not planting, he's hardly just sat in the back of B site. But Maybe they thought he hadn't cleared the
เชี่ย
space.
พี่
He
เห็
was
น
taking
ภาพ
his
ในอนา
time
คตอัน
to
ใกล้
do
ว่ะ
it. And now he's being spotted.
โดน
Thing is, he keeps going. He keeps going. This is so smart, but LaRock's shots didn't land. The net doesn't find him either, and now he's got to run right
ถ้า
into
ไม่ตั
Hero,
ด
who's just hiding around the corner.
Tamang
A nice try
tatay
by
na.
LaRock, but a much-needed round win for Navi.
แพทมาสเตอร์ยังเล่น
Yeah,
สอง
he
เดียว
had
ได้
the
ได้อ
base
ยู่
of a
ได้อยู่
nice
ได้อยู่
broth, but maybe added a few too many spices in there and ended up
แล้ว
being
มันยิง
a
ได้นี่
little
เป็น
bit
เรื่
too
อง
hot. Yeah, not gone to plan, especially once you get it back into the 2v2 and you have the wall blocking off the players. I think that's the moment where you just go for the plant and get that time ticking in your favor.
ทีมไหนเซต้า
Instead,
ใครเป็นส
the
เกลนา
round the
วีน่า
world
ตกนะ
strat didn't really work out too well.
สมมติว่าเป็น
And
นาย
at
ทำ
least
ไง
seeing a bit of a step up from Hero as well. Rooksik being at the bottom of the board is something I never expect to see, and maybe it won't last long.
บีด่านบัตแมนละ
It's also worth noting as well, I said, like the defensive half has been better for most teams, but it's definitely been better
Beat
for
น่าจะ
NAVI. So with a pistol under their belt,
เลเวลล็อก
definite
ให้กินขาด
opportunities, although that is not a good start. Bear in mind that I think Hero's also very, very, very low, and he's now gone.
Down A.
Take flight.
Advantage for the attackers. The plant found in just a moment's time. For Navi,
มาสเตอร์เจิมใคร
they
แช
know
มป์ขอ
exactly
สัก
what
สาม
they're
ที
looking
มเหร
at.
อ
This is something that they managed in the previous half. And it led to a streak of rounds, which is something that Navi simply cannot afford to give away. They win their first fight. Krevin, isolated.
Yeah.
Spam's good. Rose is 1 HP in that corner. Maximum 2 bullets. If his legs are the ones eating the lead, but he's still living, and he'll strike back for a third. Double digits now for BBL as Navi are being left in the dust.
I guess some would call that karma after what happened in the first half, but I think with the map that we've seen since then, I think we might be looking at a 2-0 start for BBL, because that is devastating. Like the fact that both Hero and Rooksik just get overwhelmed immediately, losing to the pistols. You kind of expect at least a kill or two to come in there, and it just never happened. And then Rose, well, he's been pulling off miracles all game, but that has to be one of the best, and he's already found himself an opening kill on Dex in this round as well, almost having his Hunter's Fury online.
เฮ้ยทีเฮดดิวะเอาไว้ท่อออกทีเฮดดิวะ
I look to Filu in these moments. There's an ult online. It wouldn't be the time to throw it in. The man disadvantage as well, but
น่าจะยัง
maybe if he gets something out of it. 1 HP though, sent back. Did he pick up the rifle? I think he did. This might be the ult out of him. This could be a way for Navi to reset in the round.
Yeah, it's at a point in the game where you kind of go like, I almost feel that you need to be gambling. Like you getting back into this just off winning a crazy streak of rounds feels more unlikely than being able to win a couple that maybe you shouldn't. Considering, yeah, as you said, that will put his HP back up as well, so it will give him twice as much of an opportunity to fight. The read here from Navi is also fantastic. They're going to get a third player. One of them is Filu. I think if he stays towards the spawn and ults, that would make the most sense.
ถ้าวิน
Instead,
นี้ไม่ได้พี่ถอดใจละ
entering into the site when you are that low, wallbang could take you out of there. Seems like maybe he's not committing to that ult.
เฮ้ย
Oh, this could be huge. They're all in the lane. Hero could have spammed and taken a few, but instead he takes his time as Filu finds another. Still, no ult pop, but it's not needed. They'll survive on a sliver of health as Lloyd is the last man standing. 4 seconds and a few bullets. And the round is over. A thrifty right back from Navi.
ได้อยู่ได้อยู่
I think it's clear to see that both these teams have struggled on the attack side, but that round felt brutal for BBL. I think the Molotov timing from Filu was perfect. The read that they had towards the end also. But it also came down to just how much time it took for BBL to make their decision. Like such a long rotation back to the other side of the map. And in the end, all too easy. A win, a loss, and then a win again. And it puts their opponents in a bit of an odd scenario. But with Rose having the Hunter's Fury, I wonder if they might just try something pacey. Heroes just wrecked Krevin in the first second of the round.
โอ้โหสวยละ
Yeah, full mid-fight attempted and successfully pulled off by Navi.
หน้าได้สักตัวครับลุย
Good amount of damage as well on the site push here. This retake is looking juicy.
อ้าว
Ultimate ready.
And the shock dart's taking Lover's Rock down. That is a big hit. The big player to remove Hunter's Fury. Sent through by Rose. I can't believe it. I'm genuinely perplexed at this, but it might work out. I guess they've stopped Filu's ultimate, but still a 2v4, still double the numbers that they're up against. Decent damage, but the spam's back even better, and Rose is left with a classic. I really didn't think I saw him run back, and you said the Hunter's Fury, and I thought, no, Tom, he's simply running to rotate late on short, surely. And he actually committed it. It's a big commitment when the gap is
With it,
a 4-round gap. It's not huge.
the funny thing is I'm fine with the Hunter's Fury. The one thing that I don't think makes sense to me is why they didn't use the Annihilation first. Because I think that you use the Annihilation, because look, he gets it in that moment. You bounce it off the wall, and maybe you catch Filu, maybe you catch someone, and while they're panicking to try and save that player, you then Hunter's Fury, and then maybe someone aggressively peeks. I think that's the best way you win the round. Instead, wait, Lork has used his ult. When did he use his ult?
So actually, that's beautiful, Tom. Because what I was going to say the second you finished talking was, oh, I didn't even realize Larok used his ult. Because in the replay I saw it, I heard it just about. The second Hunter's Fury is activated, Larok activates his ult, and he doesn't get the full voice line out because they shot him in the head immediately. So I then rethink what I said. Hunter's Fury going in surprises me, yes. Because I thought it was a 2v4 when he did it. But he did it just before Larok died, and it was an ult combo with Larok. That then makes perfect sense why he committed it. And it's actually just that Navi's retake timing was perfect to get in there ahead, which builds further into what you were talking about, Filu having such good utility in that early round. Like that round was perfect from Navi. Even some dangers they didn't know they were avoiding.
Let's put them in a great spot economically, but also put them in a great spot versus their opponents who, okay, now have guns. All right, never mind. Scrap everything I just said. The ultimates don't matter. You've got Lover's Rock just upgrading his weapon. Great amount of damage already, though, from Clark. It might seem like a big advantage, but that advantage is slipping. The problem is Lover's Rock is just going ham. I almost want to see him just commit to going to this A site because they have done nothing on B, and he has already got 2 openings here.
Yeah, they're waiting for his dash in, and he killed him with a judge, and they go to retake the space, and he kills him again. He's won this round for them. And Rose, insult to injury, catching exit, who's worried about Lover's Rock being anywhere behind him, coming through the window, and then ends up meeting Rose. Same thing happens here. Filu finally deals with the main danger and finds out there's another one. And now I know why Rose used his ult so early. He's keen to get those ult points back online. 1v3 that I'm surprised Cloric's even sticking around for. Has the Odin, so a decent chance when it comes to wall bangs. Kraven is incredibly low, but if I'm not mistaken, he tagged Kraven, so he doesn't know that. And now wait, run away. You're 14 HP, my friend, and there's an AWP. Yeah, so he doesn't even know Kraven's low. So that is definitely a save with the tags in, even more so. And the AWP will be carried forward, but 11 on the board, and this is terrifying, Tom. If BBL end up taking this, 3 chances to close it out, and frankly, you could give Navi the choice of map from this point out. They can just pick whatever map they want, and I still think BBL probably win this if it's a 2-0 start. It's such a difficult reverse sweep, and this is not the team I'd want to be trying to reverse sweep.
No, I think especially with you having that fantastic start now technically, I guess, in both halves of the map, back and forth. And you're not even close to not even remotely close. We've seen Rose have one of the best performances I think I've ever seen from him. He's genuinely playing fantastically well. And then you also have this round is Lover's Rock dashing through the A site into short and managing to get opening kills. Like, it's just so impressive how good he's playing individually. He had a fantastic first map. And this is the level we've wanted to see from him. And at times, yeah, sure, I think there may be discomfort on some of the agents he was on, but I also just think that it was a lot of a mental thing. Like, getting back to the point of realizing, okay, I can still do the stuff I was doing. I've just got to do it in a slightly different manner. And the fact that he gets a double entry onto the A side of the map is the reason we see Rose get as much space as he does, and the reason that he's able to even trade off him to get that additional kill. We say that it's very difficult to almost not just be cannon fodder as a jet on this map, and he's just won a round off basically being cannon fodder, but cannon fodder that fights back.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not the first time that we've seen that level be hit by him. It's certainly not even in this series. But this was right when Navi felt like they were starting to course correct, and a judge dashes what sends you back to the Stone Age. This is one last buy from the defense as well after timeout, investing everything. Meanwhile, BBL have plenty of chances to bring themselves right up to that finish line. Oh, no, that's awful for exit. And with him down, this round should be done. Look how quickly they accelerate on the back of that pick.
It almost feels like a save,
Okay.
but okay. Filu's made it interesting.
เฮ้ย
Spike planted.
It's going to get them in on the fight, but you feel like they have to win this if they are going to commit to it. Paranoia is good.
เฮีย
Going to leave Kreven in an awful situation, so they brought it back to a 3v3. Around that was looking over. Stunned up, though. Rose is still just waiting.
เฮียเป็นไป
Not
ได้เหรอ
wanting
วะ
to give anything away, just still trying to hold on
He
to
low
main.
in
It's
the
something that
way
they should think about. It's something they should almost predict, but they've gone past. They've gone pushing. Cloric is waiting, but he hasn't managed to hit the shots, and it's Rose again. So many moments that this man has taken for BBL, and one that now lets them sit 12 and 6.
You know, I remember when we saw this team playing in the tier 2, people said that Rose was going to be dropped when they made it. That like you have 4 insanely good players, and then you know the IGL who's leading them through tier 2. But when it came to tier 1, he just didn't have the stones. He couldn't stand up to the rest of the players. They'll get a real IGL in there, someone who can frag as well. Well, he's certainly doing pretty good in this series. And he's had plenty of moments
Wow.
throughout VCT where he
ไม่ใช่
has
ไม่
shown
ใช่
his
ฮีโร่
true
คนเมื่อวาน
level.
มัน
This
ฮีโร่คนเมื่อวาน
ridiculous
นี่คือไม่
performance
อิน
from
เซนจัดอะ
BBL. Remember, he's the
หรือ
one
แม่ง
leading them as
ไอ้
well.
เหี้ยใช้กดยิง
6
ทีมเก่า
rounds to
วะ
the good. Man advantage. It doesn't last very long.
Shadows traveling.
Ruxic felt like he needed to make a play. They invested
Wow.
a lot in that early round with the Hunter's Fury, and now Cloric's gone as well. Paranoia onto Ruxic, has to just try and hide in the corner as a teammate slowly coming in as well, and that's a freebie. At least one back, but again, it has to be this fight back once again. Every time it feels like BBL are garnering an advantage, and it's just whether or not we can see some sort of response.
Yeah, you need a response in a round where you've got Lover's Rock playing with an AWP and a Blade Storm as a backup. It's going to have to be one hell of a response. To start, the wall being broken up top, 2 players there, position given away, but they don't know about the third. That will change soon as the retake comes into play. Navi's holding on for dear life. The drop down onto Kreven should have been good. He was low already, but he survives. They know Kreven's here. They know that he's tagged. Filu will deal with him. Okay, Lover's Rock. All that stands in their way. Half already on the defuse. Lover's Rock has to be quick, and Hero stands in his way again. 12 to 7. It's not over yet.
ตกกระตุกอันนี้
Yeah, I'm honestly, the reason I laughed midway through that is because Loiter went for the most long-range shorty shot I think I've ever seen, and that gets him killed. If he just didn't shoot, I think he or just pulls out a gun afterwards, he kills Filu for free, and that ends up being his undoing. That would have made it so much easier in that 1v1 for Lover's Rock, but they still have plenty to play with in terms of rounds. In terms of weaponry, it's a little bit more of a troublesome position. What I will say, though, is there's a lot of ults that are close.
5 in a row. And it starts with this. Exit. Up on the corner. Seen one already, but the Paranoia forces him back. He'll concede that space. Rotates coming through as well. And the judge dives into empty space. That's perfect as a start for Navi. They've avoided the dangers. In goes the ult and catches one. Okay, one player annihilated, but still a lot more to be done. Kreven is being taken out, and the op goes in for a little more. That was a leg shot landed, but no kill till Filu strikes. And a 2v4. But damage done, and players stuck in that corner. It was never going to be a prolonged fight. 12 to 8. 4 more needed.
We're finally starting to see some life in Ruxic as well. Like he had a truly
ไม่ส่งมาแค่
horrible
เลยยาว
first half, and someone that is normally such a reliable figure
โอ้โหทียากว่ะ
in this
สะบักสะบอมขนาด
Na'Vi
นี้
roster. If he starts to come back, only 4 rounds now, the difference, which I say only, it's obviously still quite a bit, but you're starting to see the things that make you excited about Natus Vincere
Revealing area.
Well, with that annihilation being utilized in the last round, it means it's not available for this one. A
ยากมาก
piece of the
ว่ะ
puzzle
เซต้า
that would have been quite valuable, especially when you look at this A site hold.
แท็บอะไร
There's
วะนะ
currently only one man here. Brooksig's gone walkabouts again.
เฮ้ย
It seems like the game plan is to try and remove Kraven, and that's exactly what they've done.
Cage trigger.
Well played by Hero as well. He's under pressure on the site. Utility coming absolutely everywhere, and a Jet diving in, but no mistakes being made. Clean as can be for NAVI with a flawless round. They've pushed up to 12-9. Again, BBL, they can be lucky that they had that big streak. If NAVI keep this up, we'll be going to overtime.
ถ้าบีทนาวีใช้ความ
I
ค
wonder
มไหว
when's
ไหม
the moment that maybe we
ไม่
get
ไหว
balls
ครับ
coming out from Key. I think even just a stemming of momentum could be quite important. Like you're using your ultimates up incrementally in rounds that aren't going your way, allowing that momentum to swing into the favor of Na'Vi, and that's the thing. Like I think Filu's gone from the bottom of the board to now racing for the top of it. The weaponry again isn't the best. Now I will say we've seen the Hunter's Fury especially used a lot in
ถ้า
rounds
นา
like
วีแพ้อี
this
โคพี่
rather
จะกด
than
ไป
in the actual buys. I
พี่จะ
kind
ไลน์
of
ไป
hope
หา
that's
นายบอก
not
ให้
the case this time
disband
out when you know that it's going to be a better buy in the next.
Spike down mid.
Feeler's flash actually goes a little
Feeler's
behind
bad
Rose,
out
but the
on
shots
Momola.
land anyways. Ult sent back, and it's found at 2v5
เก่าครับผม
advantage.
ยัง
So
ซิงอยู่อะ
gotta be relatively happy with that if you're Navi.
Enemy remaining.
Looking likely to be 12-10. Damage there for Loida, but he's got a few more coming his way. And the jumping Odin from
กูมองค
Chlor
รับ
opens the gap for Ruxig to finish it. 2 rounds now in a row for Navi, and it's definitely looking a lot more doable for this squad now. I'm not
There you
surprised. This is what I was going to say. If they didn't call it last round, this is definitely the one for a pause.
Yeah, it was a low buy, so this is where all the pieces are going to be available for BBL. This is where you're going to have a couple of ultimates to play with as well. Especially, I think that Hunter's Fury, I wouldn't mind seeing more of a direct A take with that utilized. I think that Hero, again, he started to wake up into the match a bit, but they're leaving him on an island in an awful lot of rounds and playing retake, so it kind of sets you up to deal with the post plant. But also they've been aggressively pushing Kraven, so there may be a change to sort of try and deny, like be it Ruxig taking that space or somebody clearing your lurk, because once that lurk is gone, the retake becomes an awful lot easier for the side of Na'Vi because you don't have to worry about that player in mid. So I think plenty that could be adapted. For the Na'Vi side, well, more of the same. I think the operator has made a big difference, but also Filu's just looking great over on that Phoenix, and if he can keep that momentum for a couple more rounds, we might be going in 1-1.
There really is nothing I like more than being wrong, and Filu's been one of those cases for me where I thought him being kept this year was a completely wrong move. I think that the ceiling that we saw from him was quite low, and like going into last year. And then the role that he was playing also perplexed me even further because I thought you'd at least have a swap up.
เกม
And
มิ่
he's
ง
looked
คีย์บ
so
อร์ด
good
ครับ
this year. He's
ไอ้
definitely
ใคร
converted me into a fan, changed
โค
my mind.
โค
Power
ซิลิ
Ranger,
สเลยครับ
perfect. They have a wall that they're hiding
ไอ้แบรน
behind,
ด์
sent in
ที่
by
สปอนมัน
Filu,
ใหม่
but
ข
the
องฟูเซต
spams
นะ
through, and
โค
that
ตร
choke
ดี
point,
พี่รอ
that
อยู่
narrow little laneway,
yeah,
there's not
but-
very far you can go. That's a 5v3 off barrier
มัน
up.
ราคา
Timeout.
แบบว่าถูกและดี
May not have made a difference.
ไปลองจับ
And
แล้ว
it's not something that we've seen Na'Vi
แต่
fight
ถ้าแบบ
for
งบ
too often. A lot of the
งบ
time
ไม่
they've given
จำกัด
up
จาก
that
คัสตอม
A
ก็
main
ไปเวนอมเลย
control
ครับ
and then
เอาสุดไปเลย
hunkered down on the site or as said
That's
even
better,
play
yeah.
retake, but they completely switch up, and I think that has caught BBL completely off guard.
เวนอ
Attack
มหรือ
side
จะเป็น
again
เอ็มห
starting
ก
to
ร้อย
be a
พัดอะไรอย่าง
burden
งี้ก็ได้
for them on this map,
ก็
and
จะเอาแบนกินก็ไปหาพวกมิ
almost
วกีอะไร
mirroring
ครับ
the great defensive half they had last time out that ended up in OT versus Heretics and ended in a defeat. Also now walking into the Odin, even sort of giving the game away. The cam has spotted them. They don't even expect
เป็น
Glory
เรื่อง
to be here. A nasty off angle that's not properly cleared, and he's even going to go
Oh.
out for more. This is looking like a
One more.
potential for another
30
flawless
seconds
round. And
left.
one more
the only thing that can really be done is if
Whole
he wants to
series
try and
whole
take the
series ban
spike and go for a
sponsor เซ็นอะ
1v5. I
Ban
have a
ใหม่
feeling
ban
that
ใหม่
maybe Loiter's just going to chill.
I don't know
But we
what
not
gives
have
you that
port,
feeling,
yeah.
Tom, but I think there might be something to it. Yeah. Carrying that weapon through probably is the most
10
value,
seconds left.
and Philo hasn't gone his way. So, that's, well, there's still a little bit of a risk. wall's not quite closing in, but Rook's Spidey senses are tingling. He's so very close. No, 2 seconds left. He's rushing with a charge! And he's found him! That's ridiculous from Ruxic. What gave it away, man? What a guess.
I don't know. Maybe they cleared everything else, but it definitely seems like this man had the perfect read.
Don't ever play this guy in battleships, bro. My God.
Just guessed them all immediately. But that is rough. Weaponry gone. A weaker purchase. And for BBL, what is looking like a crumble. Look at the aggression of the defense. Considering that this is OT on the line, they are pushing into the spawn. Kreven is in a nightmare position once again. He has had a horrible half because he's been pressured and pushed. And Hero survived with just 1 HP, but that's enough for Lover's Rock to go down. Still, they'll get the plant. Still, they have the Hunter's Fury. The fact is, they are a man down in a map that should have already been theirs.
This flank is huge. No one's even looking in that direction as Exit takes down LaRock. We're in a 2 versus 4. Rose trying his best of another big play, but it has to be Loida to do it. Low HP on Exit. This is definitely doable. It's a good smoke to give him room to play with, and he needs it now to fall back. The shorties hunting him down. Good spam on the first. Loida, he has to hit these shots immediately. In fact, it was the full HP player that he just swapped spots with, creeping his way back to Gen. This is actually beautiful. I don't think they'll expect this. They think that he's under. They think it's a freebie, but in fact, it's anything but. Loida with a 4-piece pickup and 13-11. What a way to close this out. This has been a high-octane game from the get-go, but I've not seen a 1v2 played that well in a while. My God.
Oh no, there was so much mixed into that. An element of luck of when he goes jumping back into the smoke that there's nobody in there. The fact that he then manages to wrap all the way back around to the generator. And of course there's nobody expecting him to be there at that point. They've just seen him dance with death. And for NAVI, that is brutal. Like an incredible comeback after what was a very poor first half. But even still, it ends with them 2 maps down in a best of 5, Mitch. And going into what is the second of BBL's choices. And last time out, I was like, oh, maybe I'm not sure about this choice. I'm still not sure about this choice. But the fact is, they absolutely dominated, so who am I to doubt them anymore?
Oh, yeah, BBL coming in as well with 3 chances to close this out. You know, one thing I didn't get to say in the round right at the end, I don't know what happened, but I'm pretty sure Hero didn't have any of his setup down. He was like getting to the site super late and still managed to set them up with a man advantage. But it's the clutch that ends up closing it out. Oh, what a wild map, Tom. And now, as we said, BBL sit 2-0. One of the next 3 maps will lock them in for EWC as the last attendee. It could go the distance, and that last map was incredibly close, but for NAVI, now it is a steep vertical climb, a reverse sweep, and a BO5 needed, starting on Breeze after the break.
แต่รอยตาแม่งอันนี้จริงรอยตาแม่งสมาร์ทเพย์อยู่พี่นะแองแม่งถุ่มมันไม่มีเรีแอคชั่นนะแองอ่ะพี่ว่านะแองอ่ะออกอาการแน่นอนช็อตเนี้ยการออกแน่นอนหนักด้วยที่เป็นไปได้ไงวะน่าจะต้องเรียกคุยรายคนเลยช็อตนี้ไม่มีครับคีย์บอร์ดพี่ M6 ลายพัดไม่มีนำแพดครับ30แน่นอน 30 30เฮ้ยทุกคนมันเที่ยงคืนแล้วอ่ะมันเดือนใหม่แล้วพี่เก็บใส่เก็บยอดซูปอะครับใครที่ดูด้วยกันอยู่ฝากดูในคอมมันอย่าลืมนะครับฝากเปิดซูปอีกแคปไปด้วยนะหรือดูในซูปเลยก็ได้นะเอนโคเดอร์มันชัดนะฝากด้วยนี่ฝากด้วยจริงๆจริงๆนาวีเป็นทีมที่ควรจะมีอะไรแบบติดไม้ติดมือทุกปีนะทีมระดับนาวีนึกออกปะ นาวีซีเอสนี่เหมือนแบบจะไม่ใช่ตอนแรกก็เหมือนจะไม่ใช่ทีมรวมแบบว่าซูเปอร์สตาร์น่าจะไม่ประสบความสำเร็จนะแต่ไปมาแม่งก็ยังมีแบบก็ยังมีแบบให้เจ้าของทีมได้ชื่นใจบ้างล่าสุดแอตแลนต้าตบบิดมาไม่ฮีโร่เนี่ยฮีโร่วันนี้ถ้าฮีโร่ฟอร์มเมื่อวานเมื่อกี้ชนะนะแมตช์เมื่อกี้มั่นใจเลยชนะแน่นอนฮีโร่ตอนโฮเอโดนลาล็อกโดนเลเวอร์มาเปิดฟรีมันไม่ควรเกิดขึ้นเลยไซเฟอร์อะตอนโฮบีเปิดเขตเปิดม่านเขารัดมาทะลุม่านมายิงซึ่งจริงๆแล้วเซนติเนลเนี่ยเวลาโดนรัดแต่ไม่โคตรได้เปรียบเลยยังไงก็ต้องตัดตัวแรกให้ได้เขาทะลุม่านมาง่ายๆวันเวด้วยไอ้แค่โดนยิงเฉยเลยหลายช็อตอยู่ฮีโร่วันนี้หลายช็อตอยู่แล้วก็มีช็อตแบบยิงไปจะตายแล้วปล่อยยิงด้วยปล่อยยิงแล้วโดนเขาสวนตายแล้วเป็นวินสำคัญอ่ะหนักเลยวันนี้ เมื่อกี้มีฟีรัวสู้อยู่คนเดียว บอกไงอ่ะ บอกให้ยิงหน่อยเหรอหมายถึงไม่แบบเมื่อกี้หรือบอกยังไง
lot of surprises that I wasn't expecting to see, Tom, both teams that we see here today are sort of examples of that. BBL beating Foot,
Yeah.
NAVI beating Fnatic, and yet, if you get knocked out here, none of it means anything.
Yeah, it's like you go through the Turkish gauntlet on one side, and then Navi having to take down Fnatic, and I think you look back to that best of 5 series that Fnatic played as well, like earlier on for qualification, where KC go 2-0 up. Even when they bring it back, it seems still that they ran out of steam towards the end, and KC were able to close it out. So it's definitely going to be interesting. Like, again, you always say that the sooner you close it out, the better, for obvious reasons, but also because the more confidence Navi will be able to gain over time, and also the more or less favored, I suppose, the maps will become towards you and your choices. So I think it's going to be quite interesting going into this one, because we haven't seen much Breeze in general from the side of Navi. Obviously playing it a little bit at kickoff, and I think only playing it once in their 5th Group 5 stage game, but that was versus a KC that literally hadn't won a game. So actually hadn't won a map that wasn't Haven, so it really doesn't teach us anything. Whereas on this side of things, a lot of it has been played by the BBL side, a good victory versus Eternal Fire, but then a few defeats here and there as well. So I wouldn't say this is like one of their strongest maps, but clearly one they feel very comfortable, and also one that allows them for a lot of that individual skill and a lot of aggression.
Well, that's the thing, right? The fact that we're at that midpoint in the series, technically, right? 3 out of 5 we're about to go into, but then BBL are the ones that have gotten to decide where this battlefield takes place, right? For Navi, it's got to feel like they dropped the ball coming into this. As you know, like we said, that second map pick, it was a risk. However, that's twice now we've seen them do quite well on the map. It's just unfortunate that they'll go the distance. Navi always play every regulation round, but couldn't get it across the line. And I do think that in this matchup in particular, Navi almost got a little bit unlucky. On both maps, I don't think they played horrendous. It just feels like BBL are hitting that extra level. You've got Rose playing a heater of a game, but you've also got the fact that the game plan looks perfectly adhered to by BBL in so many of these rounds. I think it is fair to say that Navi, they need to step it up, despite the fact that they've been playing a good game. And then that leaves me thinking, what is missing? Exit's been there. Like, you've seen a good start. Yeah, that's it. Because Filu's bounced up. He needed to have a good start, but ended up heating up late into it. We've seen Exit be there as well, but it doesn't feel like all those factors are online at the start of the map, and they're coming online a little too late.
But yeah, it's like you can't go into both games having a terrible first half, a 10-2, or 2 rounds on the first half of the first map, 3 rounds where you were 3-1 up in the second map. Like, they're having to fight from a deficit in every single map. And the thing is, this is a very common factor against teams who play BBL. Like, yesterday, I think, was a little bit of a surprise, because you even go back to the last Breeze they played, and it was a 9-3 attack side half where their opponents then go on to win 6 rounds in a row in the second half before they close it out. Also, a little bit scary is the Eternal Fire when they played Breeze versus BBL, won both pistols and still lost the map. So it shows that this team is just, in general, fairly comfortable on this one, but it's mainly due to the role swaps. I really like the swaps they've done. Again, it adheres to everything we've been talking about today. Lover's Rock has moved more onto the Neon, and LaRock then picks up the slack. So they actually didn't change comp. If you look back to the last 4 times they played this map, it's the same comp, but they swapped who's playing what, and they put LaRock onto the Jet and Lover's Rock onto the Neon. And I think him having that additional movement has helped him a lot individually, and that's been the major defining factor of this map for them. Whereas you go over to the other side of things, and you'll never guess what composition Navi are playing. It's the one that they play on most maps. They're running the same stuff, which I'll be honest, I'm very happy about, because one of the things I really hated with them was the consistent changing of everything all of the time. They've now stuck to something a little bit more standard in terms of constantly running that Neon and the Phoenix. I'm still not crazy over the top of liking Phoenix on this map. I think it's decent, but I still think that because the map is so large, a lot of his utility becomes a little void. But as a secondary duelist with flashes, etc., I think it can still be useful.
We haven't seen if Navi are going to make any massive changes with Locke still to go in, but I think the expectation is
Lock
that
up,
won't be the
get to
case.
Run to see.
And like we say, I do like the idea of picking a composition that is sort of your baseline and then just making some pivots depending on matchups,
BBL ครับ
depending on maps as well, but having a core that your team can build around. I think especially for Navi with having the substitute, like their year has been very weird with the revolving door of a fifth, even when they have a set fifth in the form of exit, but with visa issues and so on. I think this just allows the system to be a little bit more reliable, even with those moving parts. But indeed, in this matchup, we said it going into last map, and right away we were given a treat. My eyes are drawn to Exit and Lover's Rock. As you said, Lover's Rock doing so much better when it comes to having that extra maneuverability. And I think in the first couple of rounds, we're going to get to know whether this is the same old thing we just saw, Navi getting squashed outside of the first 4 rounds, or if we actually have a game on our hands from the get-go. Because I feel like, you know, like you said, Navi... I've been saying Navi played pretty well when it came to the buy rounds, and we see that in the fact that especially the last map is super close, but the fact that they have to constantly dig themselves out of a ditch, it's not easy for any team to do that. A pistol will help out
แบบนี้
massively,
BBL โหดโหดครับ
and
แบ
they
บนี้โห
start
ด
here on the defense.
Yeah, I think the worst thing is like the last map, they were 3-1 up and then just lost 8 rounds in a row. It's just like that first half has just eluded them every single time, no matter the circumstance. And then it's like, oh, now we're 6 rounds behind. Let's start playing better. I don't know if it's crunch time. I don't know what gets in the head, or maybe they need that
ลาล็อกแบบนี้
correction from Angel.
แม่งจับเจ็ตยิงเยอะตลอด
I'm not sure, but they have not had a good start. One thing that excites me, Viper for Rooksix. Statistically, one of his best agents.
วิ
Oh, Philo and Cloric are able to pull back that early fight.
3-3
Rock does just the same, denying any further elbow aggression, but paying with his health bar for his trouble. A site open, and a plant coming through. Ruxic, the only one close by, but not close. Okay, never mind. Definitely close enough to have impact. He's dropped one and left the planter alone for the time being. Snake bit him out into the open as well. This is getting a little bit dicey, and LaRock's in a hurry to get back. He's going through mid with his knife out. That's a free pickup. Well done by Ruxic. Good round from Cloric as well. And Navi end up with a pistol. Good start in the half.
We'll see if they can build it into a good first half, because I definitely think that's going to be the talking point. Of course, last time out when we saw this map, or in fact in pretty much all the victories that we've seen on this map from BBL, it's the attack side where they shine. Their 13-9 victory versus Eternal Fire was a 9-3 attack. Their 13-5 win versus Vitality was an 11-1 attack. A 6-3 attack versus Pacific, but when they lose, it's normally because they've had a poorer attack side. So for Navi, a good start. Obviously, we don't have much data from them. They've only played it once over the last few months, but again, it was also a solid attack side from them. But already decent from Ruxic, and sort of as I was saying, like his Viper stats, like you look at ACS, etc., they are ridiculous. Like gives him quasi senti utility, and he's really hard to kill.
Nice hero.
Oh!
Onto LaRock, onto Lover's Rock as
แล้วอยู่ดีฮี
well.
โร่ตื่น
Everyone
Hey!
showing up with the sheriffs. Indeed, on both sides. Not bad work from Lloyd, but that Molly's going to force him out if Hero wasn't behind him, pummeling him with lead. That's one hell of a round from Hero. 4 kills with the sheriff. I think all headshots as well.
เนี่ยฮีโร่คน
any
เมื่อวาน
danger.
Those were sheriff kills as well, because the other was Cloric.
Yeah, in fact, all 6 kills in the round were because Lloyd had got one as well. So it was a sheriff round if ever I've seen one. But a great start for Navi. 4 players alive, a little bit of money making.
เฮ้ยอะไรอ่ะ
Does now mean that
Cover going out.
was that a force buy from BBL?
It looks
guess it
like it,
must have
yeah.
been.
Credits are too low here
They've
for...
just clearly feeling very confident that they can win back the second round, and yeah, they didn't even really do too much damage. It could be down to the fact that, as we sort of saw, Navi love to go for that sort of like 3-2 in terms of players that properly invest and the ones that play pistols, so they were trying to catch them, but when you only get a singular kill in a round where you're full buying, that's a little worrying.
Rooksik's taking a bit of a risk, sticking around. He'll pay, but he's gotten his fair share. 3 under his belt already. Rose, the danger man in some of the rounds so far in this series. Been smoked off, but a plant found. This is not exactly a comfortable round for Navi at this point.
Deploying.
Rose, you have a rifle, my friend. There's no need to use the sheriff. All is well.
อุ้ย
Oh, that's a
no.
missed shot. That could be costly. That stun's hit, though. Rose resets. Swings in with the rifle for one. Swings in for another. It's a 4K from Rose. The IGL leading by example as Loida closes it out. And
แม่งหนักมาก
oh, man, that one was looking like a sensational delivery coming out of Navi. A 2-0 start facing into an eco, and they lose it to Rose. What a series he's having. He wants to go to France, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I feel like, firstly, if you're Rooksig, you might be a little bit annoyed just with, like, obviously he played an aggressive position, but the fact he was able to get so much done from this corner, 3 kills, and then the round still slips away. But yeah, X, it's got to feel horrible. That kill was so free. You have time to pull out the pistol and just kill him, but goes for the no-scope a little too early, and it misses. And while the good thing about getting 4 kills in the previous round is Rose now has his ultimate, and they're just clearing them from middle. Hero thought he had a cheeky angle. Instead, he's been wrecked.
Poison's off.
And how clean of a round it is from BBL is certainly concerning. If they're allowed to get away with this pacey plays, it's so strange. I keep catching myself in the early half being like, I mean, it's still such early days. You'd often be in a series 5-3 on the board, and you're like, well, now we get to find out, you know, how this half plays out. This is the real meat and potatoes of it. But with how the series has gone, with how the first map went for Navi, certainly with how Ascent went in the first half as well, it does just feel like this is where they need to show up. And they get a good start, and they get a third round that it should be a 3-0. And they get a man taking a risk in that third round who gets 3 kills. And they lose it.
Yeah.
It really does feel like they can't do anything right when it comes to those first 6 rounds. They'll get a couple on the board and then go missing.
I'll be honest with you. I think 6 is generous.
Wow.
They've lost the first half of the first map 10-2, and then they lost the next one where they lost 8 rounds in a row from round 5 to 12.
For 4
I would
rounds,
say
isn't it?
for the first 12 rounds they haven't been able to get anything right, which is yeah, it's normally the earlier rounds where they do, and then it just completely goes off kilter. So we have to hope, if we want this to be a competitive match, that Navi can break back a little bit earlier. But hey, why not more of the same? A site, A site, A site. Of course, this round is not a proper investment, although saying that, there is an operator for
UI น่าจะ
exit,
ผิดนะ
and the Marshals found a
UI น่าจะ
headshot
ผิด
as well. Never mind, I guess.
Oh yeah, there's definitely still some danger in this round. Exit deleted from it, but that all can be recovered. BBL have a late lurk in mid, but a late lurk on the late lurk coming through. You can see Kraven makes it through the doors, but he hasn't been spotted.
Oh.
They haven't cleared him.
Oh.
Okay, Filu goes through and double checks it. He might be seeing through walls. What is that? Last man standing now. Over
Insane.
towards main. It will be Loida. All by his lonely. And for Navi, okay, there's one down already. Gets a little shaky, but an immediate response from Hero. Rooksik seemed to have had the shot lined up as well. The third for Navi at last, but should have been on the board earlier. Still, I think he'll take it winning around like that.
Yeah, I'm also wondering if Hero's actually got a kill with anything other than a sheriff so far. 4 kills on the backside, and a sheriff this round gets another. 3-2.
เป็นไปได้ยากอยู่
The jumble sale buy has worked
No,
out for
Moshi.
them. And an earlier break.
ถ้าได้แบบนี้
This
ก็
is
เป็น
the
ไป
thing,
ไม่
you
ได้
want
เป็น
more
ไป
of a
ได้
back and forth from Navi, or just if they can start streaking the rounds together. But I think BBL are always going to find gaps in your game. That was lovely, though, from Filu. Thing is, though, their opponents obviously building up some credits of their own with the past couple of rounds. Now they look to hit into the B side. Now, this is, for me, the scarier of the two. You've got both Rooksik and Hero, Cypher and Viper. I'm not sure this is where you want to be going.
No, they're not sure either.
Shock dart.
Looks like they will slow the play down. First shock takes out the trip.
Joke's over.
Second,
You're
not so
dead.
much. And the ult here from the defensive side to re-clear out on mid. Filu's going to get a lot of information, but they've actually peeled back to play into this. So Filu clears that, sees nobody there. Or did he see Loida?
I think he saw Loiter. I think that's the only one he saw.
A little bit of a silly peek from Loida. But I thought that was the late play
กลับ
into
มาเลย
the
ฮิต
B
หรือเปล่า
side. But now they're shifting to A. Maybe he showed himself on
บุก
purpose.
ครับ
Who knows?
Way. Oh, a bit of a game of chess. Viper's Pit has just been utilized on B, so evidently you're right. The read has been wrong from that defense. They do have main control, though. That's what makes this a little bit tougher. That backside also holding and a slight reveal, but they haven't been able to deal with it. In fact, they've killed both players. That surprise operator in main wasn't a surprise at all. With
แม่ง
seconds
โดน
left,
เว
they
ลา
managed to get
เวลา
that
คนอยู่
spike
ใน
down.
ไซ
They
ต์
managed
โด
to
น
clear the A
execute
site, and
เข้า
for
ส
the
อง
two
ทาง
players
มา
left
แม่ง
on
ดูดิ
NAVI,
ไม่
Mitch,
กันยากมาก
it has to be a save. Maybe the plan is just avoid Hero and Ruxic.
Oh, if it's a plan, it's definitely a plan that I can get behind.
Yeah.
And they've done very well on the A site also. And then putting the early presence to B, whether it was part of the plan or not, I think it definitely played in their favor. If Filu did see Ruxic, which I do think there was a chance he caught it. Or, not Ruxic, sorry, was it Rose?
Loiter.
Loida, it was Loida. It was the Omen, okay. It was tucked in a window. If he did see him, then you stay as a 3-stack on B because you think, oh, I caught them. I saw them. They were hiding and they're about to execute. And then the Viper's Pit goes down again because you're believing in that. No rifle to be saved. And a really big round for BBL. And again, I have to compliment it because I feel like this has been the case all game where Navi have ideas, but Rose calls such a bloody good game that they're falling for his ruse. They're not playing a bad game. They're just playing a different game than what they think they are. Because Rose he's mega mind.
แต่ตอนนี้มีอย่างหนึ่งที่นาวิพลาด
I'm
นะ
not sure how much he'd like that.
เมตาตัวนี้แบบนี้ไม่มี
Not aesthetically. I mean in terms
ต้อง
of
การสโมกสองสโมก
prowess.
สโมกเดียวไม่เล่นยากมาก
I'll take the aesthetic and he can take the actual brain.
Yeah, you've got the aesthetic. He's got the
แล้ว
cognitive
ต้องการ
ability.
นาวิ
That's
จะ
all that
มาคอน
matters.
โทรลมาโรเทต
That's
อะไรแบบ
actually what I
ลำบาก
wanted.
มาก
I wanted the look. No, yeah, I can understand the pause being taken. Obviously, a back and forth early, but again, you get that boost in the early rounds
สัง
and
เกต
it's
เดี๋ยวนี้
really come through for
ฝั่ง
too
รับอะ
much,
นะ
and then you
เอ
have that
เดี๋ยวนี้เขา
round
จะเล่น
where
2 คนเลอร์
even
ใช่ไหม
though
แล้วมันจะเอา
they
สมมติ
did
ว่ากดดันต
find
รง
the
กลาง
gap, there are like
หรือ
less
ไม่ก็
players
เอา
on the A site.
ไว
I
เป
think
อ
it's
ร์มา
very
วอลตัด
surprising
เอา
that
ไว้
the
โร
Navi
เทต
players
อะไร
that
เงี้
were
ย
there get nothing. Like I think there's about
ดู
20
Navi เล่นนะ
seconds left where you have a player deep on the
Rotate arm back.
classic sort of plant spot, but then also you have an operator in main, and Loiter just kills both of them in one foul swoop. I don't think that should be happening, and considering again it's going to put your economy on the line. Obviously, Hero. By the way, Hero has only had kills with the Sheriff. He has 5 kills, and they're all with the Sheriff. So him going back to his primary weapon so far might not be the worst thing, but Exit has been having a bit of a howler, and that's the thing throughout a lot of their series. He's very hit and miss. He will either be your best player or your worst player,
แม่งวอลมัน
and
ตัด
so
กลาง
far in this, he is their worst.
ทำอะไรดีค
I
รับ
always thought Howler meant a good game. That's interesting.
รอไฟ
Learned
กลาง
something
ร
new
อบนี้
today. Oh, this is going to be a crunch on mid. But they're waiting for contact. They're waiting for BBL to go forward. That Phoenix flashed around the corner in a big blitz.
แล้วไปบีมีชิลิ
It
กระบอก
never
เดียว
seems to be coming based on the position
ไม่มี
of
ของไม่มีแท็บ
BBL. The spike in hands of Jet, who's walking back. 3 players in B main. This is going to be a fake on B.
BBL
The thing
Oh,
is,
maybe-
if the players in mid decide to rotate passively, that's fine. If they go through spawn together, then it's clean. But it says 1 player walking spawn. One single knife concealed in the back. It shouldn't be the biggest of deals, but it certainly could prove to be a problem for the rotates back in the other direction. BBL already starting decently well, but Omen's TPing away. Now you've only got 2 left, and then this little stab in the back from Chloric could change the course of this round completely. He's already found 1, and now look at Rose completely stuck here, but he's posted with the op, and he's missed a shot, and he's down to 1 HP. Rose is dead.
The thing is, he doesn't care. Like, it seems like that was the plan all along. Versus an eco, it's maybe a bit more than needed, but I guess with how some of their last couple of rounds versus low buys have gone, they just want to make sure they get the plant down. So they had 2 players already going A, the TP across,
เอารู้ตำแหน่งสอง
now only just realizing and getting in towards this site, and Loiter is just on a tear. The end of Ascent was his, and it seems like that hasn't stopped into Breeze. The last round he got the double opener on this site, this round he closes with a 4K, and if Loiter's in form, I dare say, I don't know there's anything that Navi could do.
Yeah, it genuinely at 4-3, Tom. I feel like such a biased caster the first time saying these sort of things, but I'm biased because of the game I've seen happen so far. And obviously coming in, we had the expectation BBL could roll, but we've seen it now in both maps. There's been a half where they completely dominated, where the attack side especially has felt so well called. Actually, it's not even true. The defense has been there as well. They've had the reads, the rotates, the stacks on site almost every time. And Navi are having a tough game trying to keep up with it. This is a very different approach. They set up for a mid trap last round and nobody came. This time they're holding, waiting, and BBL walk up on mid. The trap avoided and now stepped into when it's well and truly broken. The Hunter's Fury doesn't find what it needs, and LaRock, oh, it's a bit of a messy fight. The up traded out by Exit, gets up close, and the rifle lands 2.
Oh, okay.
He's done so well. A man who could have been dead to right moments ago, but now, didn't realize how much ammo he had
ใจร้อน
left,
ไป
did
ห
he?
น่อย
Well, if he did, then I think we have issues. I'm going to hope that he did. I'm going to hope that he didn't. Rooksick in a clutch.
He heard the TP. He's heard the steps.
เฮ้ย
Got to. He's got to know exactly where his opponent is, and now Rose.
Oi.
Do they expect the deep angle on the
Ow!
second? Rooksick's expecting it, and it's a missed shot.
What?
Well, luckily,
Check
they have
three.
Rooksick to bail them out of another dangerous scenario. And unfortunately for the side of BBL, they did not play that one together. I believe he's going to go on a retrieval mission and just make sure he gets the operator for his
เหลือ
teammate.
เชื่อ
He's got plenty of time to make sure he gets back to this defusal.
Yeah. The sounds get scary, but don't worry. It's all bark, no bite, as Profek would say. And 4-4. A big round from Ruxic, really. A good position late, having pushed up A. Hearing the TP, hearing the steps. Lloydwood, it was an easy pickup, but honestly, props to him for clearing Rose. I think it's expected. One player on window, plant for main. Should be someone else main. But Exit especially, at double, shouldn't have gotten away with it. It looked like he was dead to rights after being tagged up by the Blade Storm. But Navi, by a thin margin, just about eke out the round. There's still a full buy for BBL. They got a lot of credits under their belt. And it looks like the B site with Viper's Pit online is the target. They're going to completely overwhelm it. At least that's the plan. And here's the push.
Hunter's Fury used, but Hero hasn't been found. Oh, perfect position. Absolutely sublime, but the trade is quick enough. Doesn't even matter. They need to clear the guy from the back of the site, and well, they have done. Loiter again removes the danger and leaves 2 standing. Clearly feeling the pressure, though. Viper's Pit's going to be put into play. It makes crossing so much more difficult and may even deter the defenders from going for this altogether. Although, it seems with the drone, they still want to try and fight this.
I'm surprised at 4-4 in all honesty. Man, disadvantage is stacked up and a Viper's Pit to play through. This shouldn't be lost unless massive mistakes are made. The spam is good, but without dealing with Lloyd and without knowing that he's that low, he gets to just play a pretty favorable fight. Moving in and out of these smokes. The orb inside the pit, or indeed playing in it. And yeah, he'll go hunting afterwards.
He's not.
It's going to be easy for Ruxic.
Ninja. Trying to ninja.
No. He'll never get away with a ninja here, but cause damage. Leave some of these players dead in the dirt. That's what it's all about, and he's going to make it out as well. That spike's not going to kill him. 2 kills from that position. Hey, Ruxic, my hat's off to you. Well done. And getting out with the rifle. About as big a win as you could have hoped for, but that's really a symptom of the times. BBL 5-4. The lead still theirs here on the attack.
I don't think for either of these sides is too bad a position just yet. As I said, historically, the attack side of this map
เกนเทอร์เมด
has
KC
been far better
อีกทีมน่าจะเป็น BBL
for
แล้ว
BBL.
ก็จะ
But
มีคิริติกได้สล็อตแชมป์ปีที่แล้วไปแล้ว
I
หนึ่ง
don't think they'll be feeling too much of the pressure just yet. It's also interesting because, again, the LaRock and Lovers Rock have just gone missing. 2 players that have been fantastic throughout this series so far, but haven't really had much impact on it. Of course, the double dive into the chokes can be quite difficult, and again, challenging for that space. Floric up close, through goes Lover's Rock, but he needs something here, and well, he's found one. This is such an awkward battle, but it seems like just as I critique the double duelists for not being there, they get all the kills.
Yeah. They show up in force. Tom Biz curse continues. It used to be me, Tom. It used to. I'm glad I've passed that on to you, Hero. There's one for you. But, saving this weapon is indeed the better call. And he's connected the dots just in time to make it across on mid before Larocque pushes out to contain that space. So, okay, a rifle carried forward for Navi, but the lead continuing to climb up in the favor of BBL. And you think about Navi previously, when it comes to this map, from what we've seen from them in stage 1, Tom, I'm not massively excited for the attack side. I think there's been some struggles there. Good attack against KC, so there's always something to talk about there, right? When it comes to stage 1, but you go back to kickoff, it wasn't looking too hot. And with the game that we've had so far, I do feel like BBL are again within that danger zone to run away with it.
Yeah, I guess my counter would be that now they have, I feel like, an identity. Whereas in kickoff, I don't think they did. Like, I like the Phoenix. I like the Phoenix on Filu. I think the Phoenix on the defense kind of sucks. I think that if you can get Exit and Filu thriving on that attack, it's where I expect them to have their better half because of it. But I do feel like I also expect if Lover's Rock starts to build up, which he just did, and he gets the Operator on the defense, that's going to be very hard to deal with. So I'm much more confident in their attack now than I was back at kickoff, but I do agree that like they haven't exactly lit the world on fire so far this series when it comes to their attack in halves.
And then that's more the problem, right? It's like my understanding of BBL so far in this series hasn't felt too heavily challenged. They look like the better squad when it comes to brawls. They tend to come out on top. Decent work by Ruxic. Pit stays online, and he clears backside. That's too much impact. He shouldn't be allowed to get away with that. The spike's stuck in the double doors. TP taken into their spawn. Now that's a new one. Haven't seen that in quite a while. And now he's behind enemy lines, but completely alone with 5 HP. Can't help but think that'll...
some rounds.
That might have been better next round.
Yeah, I guess like, from the shadows is one of like a select few where if it gets used in a sort of silly way, I kind of go like, nah, okay. Like I agree. There's definitely some use for disruption and information, but I think his logic was my teammate's alive. I want to get out and not die with the spike. And then the second he uses TP, his teammate immediately dies. So
yeah, I mean, it was one of those. I can summarize the logic natively as well. They would have in that moment said Forza BBL.
ขอบคุณน้องเมย์ด้วยสำหรับเมมเบอร์นะครับคุณนะครับผมสวัสดีครับผม
aggressive push once again. 6-6 half will definitely be the best by far that we've seen. That Molly, I don't know how much it's going to help out.
ก็ดีครับแมป BBL ด้วย
It will slow down this push once more.
เลิกกันก่อนไม่น่านะ
An advantage. And even increase the aggression of Heroes done well. It's given them a position where it feels unlosable, but he's taken a fight versus Loiter, so it's always a little dangerous. But there you go. The hero only using the Sheriff is dissipated. Now, unless Larocque has a miracle under his belt, I think that's going to be a tough one to recover.
That was one of my favorite Filu plays I've ever seen. He goes up to main, fires a flash in, completely blinding Exit. Exit gets tagged because no one else got blinded except Exit by the flash. And then as Exit looks to leave, Filu pops his head in one more time and says, I'm gonna molly you all your 10 HP. Good luck with that. And Exit just has to run forward and die. That was the strangest supportive utility I've ever seen. But supporting the other team. It did. All thanks to that utility. They take a 6-6 score at the halftime. Navi definitely showing a better first half, but let's see how it goes in the second. BBL feel overdue a dominant half. We'll see how this story ends, or if there's more to it. A few extra chapters after the break.
Oh. เฮ้ยแต่มีของ EWC แม่งเดายากว่ะ มันผิดฟอร์มทุกทีมเลยครับ รวมไปหมดเลยเนี่ยพอมาดู EWC เนี่ยเดาไม่ถูกเลยจะอะไรยังไงเนี่ย อะไรที่ไม่ค่อยได้เห็นก็ได้เห็นน่ะใน EWC น่ะ
Lights out start from Filu, though, as 2 kills already under his belt, and he's looking for a little bit more. Looks like he might have overheated down to 10 HP. He's got another flash to work with, but doesn't want to get too aggressive. A man advantage is there for NAVI for now.
Wrong, or maybe not. I think they just saw Hero going back in the other direction. The win of that fight
NAVI ได้ไซส์ครับ
actually makes a lot of difference.
เอ้า
Allows them the cross into the site and they drop the spike. Bear in mind how low Filu is
ได้แค่เหยีย
already.
บไซส์
He could get taken down from
ขอ
a
ถอนคำพูด
straight shot through the wall, and Lover's Rock has definitely turned this around. Look at the HP.
หมด
Look how low they are.
ไม่ได้
And a
ไซส์ได้แค่เหยียบ
freebie
เท่านั้นแหละ
as well, as if Lover's Rock hadn't already done enough. He's going to add a third. And what was looking like, wow, a great start to the round from Filu ends up dwindling into a
น้อง
pistol
เจ็บ
round for BBL.
น้องเจ็บไม่ต้องนับก็ได้พี่ไม่อยากจ
And we talk so much about how important
ำ
those
วันสุดท้ายของ
early
EWC ละ
starts are for NAVI. They had it in the
เจอ
first.
ที่ปารีสครับผม
But
อยาก
when it
แก้
comes
ตั
to
ว
this one, pistol round slipped.
อะไรที่ไม่ดีก็ลืม
Double
ไป
kill to open it up from Filu.
ดูแล้วหดหูแล้ว
And
เกิน
Lover's Rock is the one to really steal it out, claw it away from their grasp. And now we end up with an eco. NAVI gonna try to make it work.
วอลตัดครึ่งไซส์
As we go towards the B side, it's just going to be numbers. I like this. Flooding in on the back of your Viper wall. You get very close with that wall, and that has overwhelmed the defense. In fact, they're taking all of the kills. Hero's got 2 with the bandit. And suddenly it looks like Navi's round. What a great play.
3 ครับ น้องมิดิส3 ช่องทาง
Honestly, I think the defenders should just save at this
เป็น
point.
เรื่องเลย
I'm not sure what weaponry they have, but is it really worth just throwing it in to the opponents? Well, I guess Loiter thought it was. It seems to happen so regularly in this series that winning the pistol round just doesn't seem to mean anything, especially for BBL. The amount of second rounds that they are losing, I think that's something that they're going to have to look into.
สวยมากน้อง
They
ย้
are the ones to make it to the main event.
ำสรุปมาสิแก้ว่าไงบ้าง
The amount of early
แวนดอล 16-9
deficits they have had to deal with
สวยครับ
because of losing these second rounds is mad. 7-7. Well, as perfect as a breakback as you could hope for the side of Navi, and realistically, not that much of a
เน้นครับ
surprise
เน้นครับ
anymore.
แต่ว่าแต่ละทีมมันก็เตรียมตัวได้ไม่
Yeah, this is
ไม่
at
เท่ากัน
some
นะครับ
stage
เพ
we're
ราะ
going
บาง
to
ที
have
ม
to
ก็
acknowledge this is the norm.
เตรียมตัวไปลอนดอนมันก็ต้องแข่งมันต้อง
So the
ซ้อม
fact
อีกแพ
that,
ทนึง
and
อะไร
I was
เงี้ย
wondering because I didn't see in the moment Hero splitting from the pack for the
แต่คิดว่า
elbow push. I was
หมดครับ
thinking, was it that they put so much
เดี๋ยวนี้ทีม
pressure
มันเก่งกันหมดแล้ว
with
ครับ
Exit
ทีมไหน
running up
ผ่อน
the
แป๊บ
left
นึง
side
ก็
of sight that
ไม่
he
ผ่
could
อน
just walk
นิด
through
นึ
the
ง
right of the Viper wall?
มั
But
นก็
no,
พร้อ
it
ม
was
โดน
actually
โดน
just
ต
that
บหรอก
space given up for free on mid and mid con. It's definitely a mistake from BBL. But for NAVI, it's also them capitalizing from a position where that shouldn't really have been possible. Certainly shouldn't have been nearly as easy as it seemed.
Bilu already having a bit of a field day in this second half. Strong start to the round. The only thing that worries me is just the position of Lover's Rock. If he decides to leave, and this is easy for them, but if he sticks around,
Lover's Rock heard them.
He could be their undoing. They are all pushing this corner, but they're pushing it wide enough that I don't know. No, he's going to get it. The others should just leave. At that point, you just run away, but the paranoia setup is perfect. That's two guns now that can be retrieved. One of them taken by him. And then they still have a couple of players stacked up on the other side of the map.
Loida was just about to rotate. He started to leave and came back because the steps were heard. No. BBL, they had the read on this play. This time it's not based on Rose calling a Giga Brain play. Instead, it's just Lover's Rock being so aggressive and hearing that little tell. The wrap from Rose could not be better. And yes, Exit presents a pretty big danger. I think he's going to kill Kraven. But at that stage, I think it's an immediate trade from Rose. 12 seconds. They're going to go for the plant. And of course, they're planting for Rose. But the wall has made this difficult. It'll fall just afterwards. And Rose misses the shots as well. Okay, now it's looking doable. Navi immediately look to isolate him and find Lover's Rock by his side. A double for Chloric. This round was looking lost moments ago. But Lloyd is the man against them. He has a smoke still to play with, but he's also got a few bullets in his chest. 8-7. Great round for Navi as it looked like they let it slip.
Yeah, a good recovery. That was the main thing. I think that even just a small piece of utility, the little bit of cover that was given to Clark was enough to sort of save him from going down. This got so dangerous. The setup perfect, the contact, even the molly that was thrown out became null and void. And I thought when Kraven got this kill it was over, but instead he catches both with the aggression and then even gets rid of the last player. A lead taken by Navi so early in the second half, and oh dear, see you later. He's killed off Filu twice, but Hero did find a response.
Yeah, but the thing is they immediately know that this is going to be presence across the map. That's nasty. Kraven used his wall to try to sneak through, but he's been shut down. And the play was obvious. Why would Phoenix be alone like that?
Hello.
But now the play from Hero is going to lock the round down. It's a freebie onto Rose. And it's Spawn taken by the attack side. Now they need to only worry about their flank and mid. And now they know exactly where they need to worry about. Navi again. Look to be in a difficult position, but fight their way out of it. And the lead, it's extended even further. This is a save being called by BBL. 9 rounds now on the board for Navi.
Yeah, again, the one thing that I think needs to be looked at the moment is just how much space we're seeing picked up by this attack side. The fact that Ruxik was able to sort of sneak his way out of the Viper Orb and take the kill onto Kraven is a problem, but I think also the gap that Hero was able to exploit in middle, that, as you said, that was what ended the round. Like, he's able to get all of the information off his ult, but also, more importantly, kill off Rose. So, again, not a massive surprise to see the pause coming in from Key. I think that these last couple, like the one before last, you kind of go, okay, you lost when you had an advantage, but you still had a lot of weak weapons. That was what ended up being the defining factor. I think that one was much more of, okay, we lost because they managed to get full mid control behind us and sneak out of B main in the same round.
And we said this from Hero doing this in a previous round as well, where he was able to take this free space over mid. I think it was the eco round that they won in round 2. It's definitely been a gap for BBL, and good to see them calling the pause to address that. But a 2-round gap and the economy now in a pretty shaky spot. That should be double digits for Navi. But I say that, the way that this game has gone, that kind of a buy from BBL could be even stronger than a full buy.
สายบนด้วยน้องไฟตกพี่ว่านะอันนี้มันทีมที่ได้ไปที่3แล้วนะ
A game with a
ก็จะอาจจะมีเมาๆนิดนึง
weak buys succeeding, a lot of rounds that shouldn't have been. In fact, we don't even know what the score could have been like if that OT hadn't happened with the loiter clutch.
Yeah.
Now for RV to finally find themselves in the lead, because again, they've always been fighting back to almost try and get to overtime or put themselves in a position to compete. They haven't had advantages in this series thus far. Oh, now a hastier hit in towards A, but again, it's going to be an opener going the way of the defense.
Hey, he's got to be perplexed that no one broke that dart.
Oh.
Nice shot by LaRock as well.
พูด
There's
ได้
a
คำเดียว
rifle
ว่า
picked up with
เละ
Filu
เทะ
on
ครั
the
บผม
floor. That was such a
แล้วตรง
weird
กลาง
start
มัน
to
เลิ
the
ก
round. Now they can't let
ระ
it
วังอยู่
slip by giving
มาหล
Hero
บ
mid space. They cannot do it. This has
หรือ
been
ว่า
a
ตรงกลางโบ
problem so far on the defensive side. This man has been a problem. And now he steps into the double doors. No offers on that back sight. The pixel that, frankly, I can't even see through. That's so small. No doubt his reaction would be quick and clean if given the chance. For now, they just sit and wait. And then, you know, considering there's a player just tucked in on the right, LaRock waiting for Hero to round the corner. There is no need for further movement, further back. Smokes going into main to slow this play even further. And now they'll look to battle their way out just as the eye is turned. Well done.
Yeah, even still, though, crossfire was enough. I think that was what they were waiting for. Just having that dart online to act as a distraction made it impossible for LaRock to hold the corner, but the trade's in. And another good round from the likes of Lovers Rock at the back of the side. As he said, he's been having a great series. Like, slower starts at times, but
One enemy remaining.
when he's on, and another man who's been on throughout the entirety of this map so far has been Loiter. Those are the two leading the charge. Slightly
คือ
quieter
สล็อต
from
แชมป์มา
Kreven
ไป
as well. And I
ไป
think
ยึด
that's
ส
been
ล็อต
one of
จี
the
นมาแล้ว
exploits for
จาก
NAVI is
สล็
being
อต
able
จี
to
น
get
เหลือ
onto
แค่
his
3
B
สล็อต
site, put him under pressure.
อีมีก็คัด
He's left isolated
เลย
quite often, but it seems like in this
เฮ้ยเหลือ
case
แค่สอง
they've given him a buddy. Well, he might be under pressure soon because I don't know if they're going to want to push this operator.
Blocking sight.
Oh, they are. LaRock's gotten just out of there now, so there's backup. A rifle and an op towards yellow, and that's going to be difficult to deal with. Exit just decides to bypass it, move into the site, but the Viper wall going down is going to cause issues. Planter spotted.
Planted.
The info there is a late wraparound through mid is going to catch Ruxick in that doorway. Ruxick does well to find one exit on another. Ruxick! He's not letting go of the double doors. And now as time ticks, those players... What? What are they doing? Exit's able to pick it up for free. They knew Ruxick could have been there, surely. But a bit surprised to hear the second. Maybe they even heard Ruxick's steps running away and thought that's got to be it. It could be a beautiful bait, but... I mean, Exit just got handed those kills on a platter. Only found one still.
I can only assume there must
Ninja?
have been some steps.
I'm out of here.
Don't.
เฮ้ย
No, there's not enough time. He's just trying to bait them into the fight in the end, but he has an
ตอนไหน
operator,
ตกด้วย
so I'm not sure that was worth it. I don't know. Normally you say, like, you cut off your nose to spite your face. That's the saying. But he cut off his nose and didn't really do anything to anyone. It's just feels like a
ลูกพี่เขาไม่
silly
เซฟ
move
โอเปอเรเตอร์ว่ะ
altogether.
Enemy remaining.
I think
Lost
they
one
heard the
game.
steps, man. That's so good from Exit to slip into that spot and to send Ruxick fleeing. Because normally from there you'd fight the 2vx fight, right? But that almost looks intentional from Navi. If it was, that's brilliant. 10-8 we go. Navi on double digit. Feel not
Okay.
again. It's the
Same
same
again.
spot, bro. The exact same fight.
I love that he still has an operator and Rose has a sheriff. Like that's where we're at. Oh, angle's
Yep.
still going to be checked.
ไม่ได้ โอ้โห
He's trying to hunt this down, trying to get aggressive. Kreven's done well.
Ui.
As said, he's been having a quieter game, but that seems to have turned.
หูดิ้งด้วย
An
28
instant headshot and a lot of damage done onto Chloric, but he is still standing, spike in
ได้หรือเปล่า
hand. Cross to the site possible.
คือต้อง
I
บอก
think
แล้ว
he realizes that the operator could be
ปืนกลน่าจะ
watching
ตาย
him, so he's going to try and double back around to push through the spawn. Okay, this, of all the plays he could have made, this is the one that has me most intrigued, but
ก็จะมี
the
ฮิเล
opponent
ติก
has picked up a rifle, and it seems like Lovers Rock
Gentleman.
might have got this one spot on, the one position he could still be in, and a very good read in the end.
KC เนี่ยกำลังหาย
We're
ทีม
down
อยู่
to
เนี่ย
a 1-round gap.
เนี่ย
NAVI, the side who've gone missing on one half in each map so far, they seem to have slowed down. And of course, a timeout is called by NAVI, not content with losing probably those fights, especially in mid. Like they can't be giving Lovers Rock instant man advantages for the squad.
เนี่ยรายชื่
And
อมันออก
obviously
หมดแล้ว
Kraven
ผม
fighting a 3K, but I don't know what we're supposed to do about that. Like, don't let him pop off. That's kind of a tough one. The main crux of the round is losing part of that mid push and also losing part of the tip of the spear of that mid push, right? Like, you're so often going to want to see your Phoenix pushing up with the Neon the same way that they get out of the smoke in mid. They can invade into the B site. They can fight through the Viper wall or the orb or whatever's protecting them from that mid to B push.
แล้วก็3ทีมที่บอกเมื่อกี้
But when the Phoenix gets ripped out of the
จะ
round,
มี
then
KC Gentleman แล้วก็อันนี้น่า
you
จะ
can't
เป็น
really
เดียว
do that. It's going to be a little harder to fight through those walls.
จีนจะเหลือแชมป์จีนแล้วก็สล็อตจีนคัดเหลือแค่2ทีมคือ XLG กับ AG
NAVI
โซนอื่นก็ปกติ
last chance in this map for Angel to check in with the team and maybe a last time in the series if they're not able to get this one over the line. The thing is, it has been isolated victories, and that means that they still come into this one strong economically. Interestingly, the operator has now been given over to Rock, so I don't know if that's a position
รอ
thing
เกือบ
or
เช้า
maybe
เมื่อ
just
วาน
the plan. It looks like they might be about to try and go
ลาก
for
ตั้
some
งแต่
sort
บ่าย
of
ขออ
crunch
นุญาต
of
ไป
their
พัก
own.
เลยเมื่อวานอ่ะ
Well, the start is strong. The B main aggression hasn't worked out in the past, but this time they have drawn first blood. Filu falls as well, swinging from Chloric, and that's seeing that there's no one else in elbow. They're going to keep pressing forward past that smoke, and seeing that space is being left. This gets a little dangerous. The read is now there for NAVI, and BBL have no idea that they've just handed over that information and handed over the B site to Chloric. He's still very suspicious, being cautious, clearing, well, I wouldn't say every angle. That left side's been left open. But they are realizing that, yeah, their rotations have come in. The A side is where the stack is, and now a plant. In a 3v4, with an isolated player towards defender spawn, this could get very risky very quickly. BBL need to keep this game tight, but even then, now they have to fight through the Viper's pit. And to make it even worse, they have to fight through Rook 6 Viper pit.
นี่ระหว่างทางไม่อันตรายจัด ยังไง
He's got to try and find an angle to hide from. I think Hero,
มีคอนครับ
he's so low that it all comes down to timing. If he gets this backstab right, he wins them the round. He gets it wrong, and maybe he's a null factor. And you can see that there's clearly Lovers Rock looking for this. There goes the Viper. Hero's done incredibly well, though, exactly as said. And now Kreven is all that remains. It needs to be an instant shot, but it's Chloric on the site. 3 kills. A response immediately. Once again, no streak on this defensive side. And while a pause from one side, a pause from the other, this time Key will have a last chance to talk with his team.
I gotta be honest, Tom, it's not hard to imagine why. They took B main, they fought, they killed 2, and I think it was genuinely the second Filu died, they gave up the space. They just ran away. Smoked it late, didn't hold the space before the smoke. So those players have re-cleared it, see a smoke go down and go, oh, they're trying to make it look like they're holding the space, and they're not. It's the easiest play to the B site ever. It stops the A player from overextending. Maybe we would have seen Hero play much deeper, play more
คิด
aggressive.
ว่าตัวผู้เล่นเยอะกว่ากะรีเทคเรียบร้อย
And
เลย
that
เนี่ยระหว่าง
that
ทาง
can't
แม่
be
ง
happening.
แต่ละโค้ง
They gotta keep control of that space afterwards.
Enemy
But
remaining.
one small little slip up, and NAVI find themselves in prime position to bring us to another map to at least get split out. BBL called a timeout as this is more or less going to be their final stand.
Yeah, no, it needs to now be a streak of a few. Otherwise, at a minimum, they're fighting for OT, but you alluded to, their economy is not really going to allow for another buy in the next round, especially not one with an operator, which it has been one of the sort of good points of this defensive side. Of course, for Loroc,
แต่เมื่อกี้
so
แม่งดูยาก
impactful in
เล
the
ย
first couple of maps.
เจออันติไวเปอร์
We get to really see it here. Blade Storm could be the difference maker, and a very aggressive one of that. You can already see multiple players spotted heading in towards that B site. That's why he's immediately rotating in that direction. But I wonder if again it's been bait. They have fallen hook, line, and sinker a
แล้วหลอก
couple of times
โอ้โห
now.
กดอันตินอเข้าไปหลอกบี
Oh, he's gonna
was
go
it?
all the way.
ได้1เสียง
Exit's
1
got one. Fair
ได้
enough.
ยินครับ
The B
ลอย
side
ต้า
fake
เฮ้ย
working.
Oi.
Oh my god, they've not cleared Lloyd out!
โอ้
He'll get two! It could have been all
เป็นเรื่
three
อง
in NAVI after playing the round so well. They're in big trouble.
แป
The
ดเช็ค
spike
แต่มอง
down
ไม่
on the
เห็น
A side.
เนี่ยไว
And the
จี
12th round evades them. Unless Hero can
Check
be the
bomb.
man to fight this one back.
Yeah.
1 versus 3. And all holding his cross and every angle covered. There's no surprise for Hero. No element to lean on there. It's got to be heads up duels. And Lover's Rock, not an easy man to survive the first shot from. Rose almost goes down. He's 5 HP. 1 shot there would have taken him out. They know where Kraven is now as well. Hero has all the information to play with, and of all the players to put in this position, he's got to be one of the more reliable. Well, he's been shot in the back. 11 to 10.
แล้วโรสวิปโชว์ไปทีเมื่อกี้
I like. There's good and bad. I think we all know the bad is not checking the angle you flash. The good,
Yes.
the fact that Loiter doesn't shoot a bullet. Like that is just basically the
แม่ง
I'm
น่าจะยิง
dead.
โซวาคนสุดท้ายนะเอาจริงจ้ะ
Either I go full spray and hope that I kill everyone, or I pray that they don't check it. And that's the one in a million. That's the one where you're gonna, if there was a coach cam, you'd have seen Angel slamming his head into the desk because you did the hard work. You've pulled the rotation, you made them go the wrong way, and then you just don't clear your corners.
เฮ้ย เอ้า
Spams there. Evidently, Filu could see him or just
Holy
sense
shit.
him. But it's enough either way. Caught in the back in the snake bite, still surviving as the Phoenix ult just about runs out. And now Filu runs out of time. Challenging Rose is a big mistake these days. I don't know what his aim routine is, but he better drop it ASAP. They know exactly where Hero is, like you said. They have seen him. Lover's Rock is the one that wants to put him down. Won't manage it for now, but the defuse is already through. 11 to 11. We really do have a game on our hands.
Yeah, but maybe not a series. BBL, of course, 2-0 up. They close out this map and they make their way to EWC in Paris. They claim the last spot from EMEA. And they join the likes of Heretics, Vitality, Carmine Corps, and of course the Gentle Mates.
No more.
NAVI win this map and it's still in contention, but there's been a lot to be desired in the last couple of rounds. No more pauses. I'm sure Angel would love to have a pause in this
ใน
moment.
แข่งนี้นี่ยังครับนีออนยัง
They've all been expended until
ทรงพลังอยู่
overtime.
นะ
No coach
Go,
check-ins.
go, go.
2 rounds left to play for. It looks like BBL are thinking about some late mid aggression. Both
ส่งฟิลไป
duelists
เลิกเหรอ
sending it out there. They won't see anything.
เอา
NAVI
ละ
are still tucked in as players in main, ready
BBL
for this
แม่งกำลัง
push,
หา
but the
ทำ
crunch
แล้ว
is
กำลังจะ
coming
โดน
through. Kraven about to walk
Man,
around.
yeah.
There's a paranoia ready and needed as Exit can slip back around that
More.
corner. They don't think that Filu's already pushed up this much.
Yeah.
It's a big
You
misplay
gotta have 'em.
from BBL as they look to fight for mid, but NAVI win every battle.
โหดีๆแม่งก็ดีอยู่แล้ว
Well, I think the question's been answered. I was going to say, do they even go for this? And I think the answer is a categorical no.
One down.
Especially with Larocque having the operator, it's something that you don't just want to be giving away. You can see the heroes already on the hunt. Realization
นี
that
ออนฟินิกก็อยู่ใน
they're
เม
not
ตา
gonna be
ครับ
going for this, but maybe
Yeah,
wanting to
Phoenix
keep their
on
own
it.
economy strong rather than anything else. Still, OT at a minimum. Or
มา
a map
ทันอยู่
victory
ถ้า
in the
ทีม
series.
ถ้านาวิชนะแบบนี้
Taking it home in
Now
the
we'll
last
boom on it, huh?
OT seemed inevitable when Loiter stepped in for that clutch, but he managed to give that map over. The first time in this entire series thus far, NAVI have a map point.
ใช่แล้วน้องจ๋า
Yeah, I guess they're getting to remember what it's like to be in the lead. And right in the last moment as well, to steal that back from BBL and to avoid giving it over, I suppose. They've now been either in the lead or hitting those ties for quite a while. This map has had its fair
คือ
share
ส
of
มมติว่า
tests,
ถ้ามัน
but
หลุดไปถึงสปิตนะ
keeping
ที่
it
จะให้นา
together
วิ
through
ละ
them all in one last push.
อืม
And they'll at least get themselves to split. Haven needed as well for them to qualify to EWC, but it's one step at a time. Larocque under pressure. Oh, but he stands and waits on the box. Quick turnaround that wasn't expected, but Rose has gone down. Paranoia is not deep enough. And those players able to fade away, but Kreven on the other side of the map is taken to and dropped the spike. Yeah, we are not done yet. Not in the series, not in the map. 12 to 12. It's overtime time.
Switching sides.
Yeah, no, it felt like for maybe in the first time in the
อิง
map,
ไม่อยู่ละ
Navi tried to play with the rotations and it completely failed. I think Larok surviving long enough maybe changed that factor, but Kreven didn't budge. He just waited on that B side of the map, so when they went running in, they get slaughtered because every other time, and literally is something we've been complaining about, every other time they have gone. They've rotated quickly, grouped up, and tried to almost play that retake versus B. Instead, he sticks around and just domes both players as they walk into the site. I think Larok also did fantastically well. Not only to not die, but come out with 2 kills in that round. Both him and Kreven were having quieter performances, but as we always say, when it gets towards the late game, it's the rounds that matter. They have both helped bring home a round.
Now BBL on the attack. They move towards the A site, leaving a lurker outside of B. The drone heard already. The dash used, and in goes the dive. It's Ruxic who holds the line to start with. The dash up. Oh, he'll take Larok out. The updraft serves no purpose here, evidently. As Rose on the wrap is spotted. That should be danger averted. And only one left, and not for long. Another chance for NAVI to push us all the way to split on their attack.
Switching sides. Match point.
I think they'd be quite confident going into that map as well. It's one where they've had a pretty decent record on it, so
มาเตอร์ลอนดอน
getting there might just be the turning point of this series. 3 wins in a row, but of course one where
ใช่แล้วเกตมีทีม3ทีม
didn't opt to pick it first. Maybe they wish they did, but the
สปิด
Ascent
หรือ
could
เปล่า
have
ครับ
easily been there if
ดู
it
กัน
wasn't for the incredibly slow start to that map.
I'm out of here.
They make it now. Maybe the reverse sweep is still possible, but that is assuming that this is the end of the map and not just the beginning of another overtime.
Deploying drone. Enemy tank.
Well, attackers have been spotted, funneling out into middle, but that mid fight wasn't good for BBL the last time they took it. And this time they will completely avoid that space, retreating to the site, holding passive, but it means that top mid and double doors are isolated fights. Same in A main, but you can see the double duelists moving to that double door where there's an op sitting and waiting. Good shot by Larok. Stun is decent. And he's not going to hit the shot thanks to the flash. But another might be needed as he just bails out. Okay, the op gets the reset and the man advantage sits now, but not for long. As Hero finds that shot on site and keeps pressing forward. He's already wrapping deep and taking that control. They can get a plant out of this one. And this is a big risk. If Rose goes down, the round may be done. It would be a 4v2. But he's found the planter! Clark's planting in the open. What a mistake!
He's given them a way back into the round, but even still,
อุ้ย
post plant ensues. Heroes now dealt with, found in the
เฮ้ย
open
อย่าง
as
นี้วาง
well.
ปิด
It
นะ
doesn't
ต้อง
even
เล่นใน
look
ไซ
like
ด์
he's
นะ
forced from that corner. Just wanted
BBL
to fight. Ruxic tries to save them again, but now it stands to 1.
Enemy remaining.
หนึ่ง
Looking to try and hold the line. Both players
Oh!
desperately. Loiter is going to find the final kill. This man in late round scenarios has been a difference maker
ไป
all
กัน
the
ต่อ
way
ครับ
through,
ผม
and he will keep them going in this map.
เหลือเชื่อ
What a
ฮะ
bold play to start this retake as well for Rose to go through that smoke, look for that deep backside
ใคร
play.
เห็นก็ว่าจีจี
That's
เมื่อ
somewhere
กี้
that he could easily have been taken down, and the round almost certainly goes with him. But instead, he levels the playing field. Lover's Rock did remarkably well to get out, although fell immediately afterwards. But it is this from Rose. It's catching Cloric there when no one's watching. That started the dominoes falling, and I thought Lloyd made a mistake by being up top there, by not being able to trade so quickly. But again, that timing worked out perfectly in his favor. Now BBL go back to the attack. And again, A main will be a key point for this battle. The updraft dash out needed as Filu. This time, his utility has saved the life of his teammate, but he couldn't save himself. And Exit goes down
เอาต่อ
with
เล
him.
ยเลเวอร์
BBL, 2
ก็
kills
กลาง
to
ไหล
the
ไม่มี
good.
คนดู
Another as Kraven strikes
เรียบ
on the
ร้อย
back, trading out Larok. And a 4v2
เสียบอม
to
ไซด์อย่าง
set
รวด
them
เร็ว
up
อะ
for match series at EWC main event point.
Ruxic and Hero. Safe to say you wouldn't want anyone else in this scenario. Ruxic has managed to time things incredibly well. Revan is constantly checking, but the second he uses his utility, maybe he's going to get caught. He will. That brings it back into contention. They need to reaggress, and they've been caught by Hero. Even still, though, it goes down to just one. Rooksik with that time ticking against him, and both players sat at the backside. Both players waiting together, just jiggle peeking, and all they have to do is play with the time, but it's Lover's Rock again. Another addition to what has been a sublime performance. And now, as you said, qualification point on the line for BBL. It is up to NAVI to win this round, win this map, and win 2 more after. Otherwise, they will not be heading to Paris.
It has been a long, long road for NAVI to make it here. They came through phase 1, defeating Pacific, defeating KC, a team who has since qualified to the main event. And let me tell you, NAVI didn't just beat them. They absolutely ruined them. 13-4 and 13-3. That game qualified them to the main event here. To phase 2, I should say. The main event being a little bit later on in Paris. And in phase 2, the lower bracket run of Dreams, Team Liquid, Fnatic, Bested, and yet all of that
เหมือนถ้ากลางอาทิตย์จะเป็นช่วง
1 round lost here, and it will be a 3-0
blowout
as they are sent out of contention and forced to watch not just Masters but EWC from home as well. It could be a long, long downtime for NAVI, despite being so very close to achieving their goals.
At the time with Angel, of course, OT
จ
meant
ริงๆถ้านาวีได้ดูเอลรอบจับสักคนหนึ่งนะโหดอยู่นะ
This is a tough way to fight back, and it's not getting any easier. Fever gone within the first couple of seconds. A switch up of positions for Lover's Rock. Even in OT, they are not becoming predictable. Moving their double duelist, moving their double controller. They've literally swapped the sites they've been playing on, I would say, for the majority of that defensive side, just to make things that little bit more tough for NAVI to read. They are still going to commit to this side, though, but they have to be careful of this operator. It has been a problem for them, but also there is a second layer. There is a second player, but maybe that second player is irrelevant. Already, Lover's Rock putting a second on the board.
ใครทันดูเลเวอร์ตอนนี้ป่ะโยรู้ป่ะ
Hero is fighting,
สไนแมปนี้ตัดโคตรโหดอะโยรู้เลเวอร์
but they still haven't planted just yet.
And LaRock knows his back is covered, or at least it was. Now he has to check it as they close the distance, but now buddies are covering, so he can worry about Hero. He needs to worry about Hero, who's just around that corner. 35 seconds, and Hero needs to move. That spike needs to be planted. It's time to strike. Reveal goes in. LaRock looking the other way, but Hero's being spotted by Loida. Backup was there. The paranoia perfect on site. Hero's the only line of defense now for his teammate Cloric. And as Cloric strikes one after another, Kreven has been hiding his time. 15-13 and 3-0. BBL have made it on the long road to EWC.
Yeah, it was a blitz at the start of the year where they were one of, if not the best team in EMEA. A slowdown in stage 1 where Masters London sadly evaded them, but they have risen back to the top, and they've gone the long way at that to make it all the way to EWC in Paris. They will play another event on an international stage, and I'm sure they're going to be over the moon, but it has to be said for NAVI, it is gutting. A tough loss both times in a very close manner, at least over the last couple of matches, and the fact that they lose 13-11 to a
ของเกณฑ์ว่ะเนี่ยกลางอาทิตย์มันจะมี555กับชาร์เปอร์อ่ะน่าดูอยู่ลูกกิ้งแข่งพร้อมกันหรอชาร์เปอร์เจอบูมอันนี้น่าดูวันที่4 6 โมงทำไมตารางสปิตมันแปลกๆวะแข่งวันที่4วันเดียวด้วยนะ exit น่าจะไม่ไหววะน้องจ่าคนนี้ครับเอาตอนกลางคืนกลับมาดูในคอมใช่ไหมโรนินโอเคครับทุกคนเจอกันครับผม พักผ่อนนะ วันนี้ได้นอนไว วันนี้ครับทุกท่าน เจอพรุ่งนี้มาสตรีมเล่นเกม เจอกัน7 โมง ใครลุยอเมริกาก็โชคดีครับผม ส่วนพี่ขอตัวไปนอน สวัสดีครับ